Yo, what up? This is Leedz Edutainment. What's that smell? Smells like the Big Dookie Chain podcast.
Oh my God! Hello, here we are, folks.
Hey.
Yes, oh my God, the man himself. It's the Big Dookie Chain. Myself, Van Styles, Tash to the left of me, Hush behind the boards, and then in front of me right here we got Boston's own, the gatekeeper of Boston hip hop for the last 20 plus years. Oh my God! Can we give a round of applause for Leedz Edutainment?
See,
I'll make a plug for myself.
I don't know if we can keep doing the applause thing, man. We're getting shit. We're getting shit online for that.
That's good. That's more comments.
Why?
Because they say we're stealing it from Drink Champs.
We are stealing it from Drink Champs.
In fairness, he does say we steal this from Drink Champs.
And
everybody give him a round of applause.
I don't think Drink Chains started the applause, though. I don't think they're the originator.
No, they are the originators.
Yeah.
No, but I actually find it so annoying on Drink Champs. That's why I was bringing it up as like
the cornball
to make fun of it.
The
but
cornball.
like the giving your flowers and Nori doing the fucking like having everyone do the round of applause.
When was it okay for when was it like that men needed to get flowers? Like you know what I mean? Like what?
You're gonna say
that's a woman's thing. You know what I mean? If a dude came up to me and gave me flowers, I'd be a little weird. It's like that scene in Any Given Sunday when they play a prank on Jamie Foxx and he shows up at Pacino's house with flowers.
That's back when men. Any Given Sunday came out back when men were men, though.
Is that what it is?
Now we're in a different age.
What age are we?
Mister,
in?
we need a man like
2024.
Herbert E. Hoover again. Back when men were men.
I'd rather you give me cash than flowers. You know what I mean? Whatever you paid for the flowers, I just take it in cash.
They are gold flowers, though. They're golden flowers.
But I get the idea.
Yeah.
They also do flowers at funerals, and that's not a good sign either. You know what I mean?
But why you would
weird.
Men get flowers at funerals.
Yeah.
So
it does. It's been
I
backwards.
get it.
So
the only
we should
time
not
we get
give you the
love.
flowers that we got you. Is
I
that
would
what you're
say
saying?
give me something else.
So hush. Put those. Keep the flowers down. We're not going to do that today. Okay. But we can give you a chain.
We can.
Oh,
indeed.
yes.
Oh,
So, I mean-
something better than flowers.
Yeah,
oh my
something-
God. Tash.
That thing looks.
Oh.
Jesus. That thing looks
That was like the socks under his bed.
dude.
Can you take off the
I
like
guess I'm gonna have
fucking-
to now.
I gotta knight you.
It was like
No.
it was crimped up and crusty there.
Oh, you got a big head.
Oh,
but,
yeah,
you know.
I do.
So remember earlier when Van was talking about off camera, he was talking about that video of Hush that he found from Underground Hip Hop, the shirt you're wearing right there.
Yeah, him and Adam 22 having a three-way.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes, that one. There's actually the chick that's standing behind Hush dancing, wearing that actual chain in the video.
Well, I feel honored.
And it turns out it was.
Oh, it was Dory, intern Dory. If you
Oh
remember
yeah,
her.
drummer Dory. Yeah.
yeah.
What the heck is she doing?
I have no idea, but she was always wearing the chain you're wearing right now is the one she would always borrow from me every time she interned at one of your
It's
shows.
an honor.
Yeah.
It's a privilege.
She was wearing that chain when Jizza was sexually harassing her along with his manager.
Oh, that should go in the fucking Smithsonian then. That's a piece of history, hip hop history.
Well,
right
right now it still has pragmatic use. So,
That's true.
But once we're done, we'll retire it into the museum.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you forget what you got yourself into.
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
No, I did. I remember.
No,
Quite well. With you two, I know we can get into
He
anything.
knows,
This could go left, right, up, down, whatever.
But this is round 2, so we're
Yes,
gonna
it
do it
is.
even better up.
Yeah, we had a
this time.
warm up. We had a practice.
Yeah, we had a warm up. That was great.
We had a practice.
That you might see another Leedz Edutainment interview come out. God knows when.
Third
in the
time's the
future.
charm.
Yeah, third time's the charm.
Third time,
Second time's the charm.
second time.
Oh, we get it right this time. We got Hush here now, so I think Hush is a worker. So you know what I mean. He's gonna get it done.
Oh,
Feel
Hush,
very
Hush
confident.
is the secret sauce behind
So
the
for
podcast.
everyone that doesn't know who you are, where you from, give us a little bit of backstory.
Where you from?
Where you
Yeah.
from, kid? Do you like
Where
apples?
you from? Very Boston.
Where's your grandmama stay?
I'm a New England native, so I'm like born and raised all over New England, mostly Massachusetts and a little New Hampshire. So I grew up in Georgetown, Mass, which is like Haverhill area, Essex County. Then, Mom remarried, ended up in southern New Hampshire.
Oh, so you're a product of a broken home.
Oh, I am.
Oh.
Yes. Shocker.
We'll
Hip hop.
Yeah.
Hip hop, broken home. Never heard that one before.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah. So I ended up there, and then I was up in Concord, New Hampshire, went to first college there, and then after that was done, I ended up in northeastern Boston, and I've been in the Boston metro area for the last 20-something years. Ended up on the South Shore, was in Weymouth, Hull. So I've been all over. Boston,
you have been all
Dorchester, Hyde Park.
Wait, did you go to school in Boston?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Wait,
My formative years was in southern New Hampshire,
okay.
which the Boston hip hop scene at the time used to point out quite frequently when I was first being a promoter. They'd be like, "Oh, the New Hampshire kid,
Right.
the New Hampshire kid."
Do you remember your first hip hop show that you went to? That you went to?
That went to, J-Roo the Damager, Middle East Downstairs, like 99, I think, or 2000.
Not that you threw, but you went to.
Yeah, but you went to.
Okay, wow.
And now, how long?
Well, do you remember yours?
Shit, Boston show that I went to?
No, the first hip hop show you ever went to.
Oh, that wasn't the first hip hop show.
Yeah,
That was the
yeah.
first Middle East show I went to.
Oh yeah, that's not
The
the
first hip hop show. I think. Oh, you know what it is? It's
Is
a
it gonna
good,
be a
it's
good
a
one?
good one.
Oh,
It's
is
a
it a
very
goodie?
good one.
Is it better than mine?
Biggie Smalls,
Ooh.
Really?
Method Man, Mobb Deep, and Craig Mack
Damn.
at the
Yeah.
Providence Civic Center.
Oh wow.
Before and Method Man didn't show up, but we went down there.
Surprise.
Me and my two friends from New Hampshire. Shout out, actually three. Shout out B1, Colby Peck, and Shiz, aka Meister. And we went down there, dude. We were. This is like 95.
Okay.
Right? So like
So how old were you in '95?
15, 16.
Okay.
So I was like, yo, we were literally the only white dudes in there. Like
Really?
seriously, we were only white dudes in there, and it was so many blunts and 40s, and like you could everywhere you walked, you were just walking on blunt guts. The toilets were completely filled up with blunts.
Wow.
Like that's all that was.
How were they getting away with that back then?
It was just total chaos. So then like.
But as a promoter, how were they getting away
I don't
with
know.
that?
I don't. So back then, what I realized back then later when I came to Boston is like that's the only way you could see hip hop shows in New England was in Providence because they weren't allowing them in Boston.
Yeah.
So
Oh, is that true? They
yeah,
weren't
that's what
allowing them in Boston?
That's what Edo was saying. They were shutting them down.
Oh shit.
So Craig Mack goes on. Mobb Deep gets booed off the fucking stage.
That's
It's crazy. And this is like Infamous is out.
That's insane.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Infamous is out. And then
Were they putting on a shitty show or was it just?
it was I couldn't really tell. I think it probably was. I don't really remember much about it. This was also new to me, and I was like, looking around the whole time. My buddy got hit in the head with a 40. I mean, it was just like pure chaos. And then
How do you have 40s inside of
I
a
don't know
venue?
how they got them in there, but they did.
Like what?
So then like Biggie comes out and performs, and then this frigging riot. Now this is the Civic Center, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
this is like
the floor, right?
Huge floor, right?
Yeah, the
like
floor.
Huge
Yeah, the
floor.
floor.
And
Hockey
this
rink.
huge riot breaks out. Like
Yeah.
when I say huge, I mean all out friggin' brawl, dude. Like dudes are on crutches. A guy picks up a crutch and smashes it over the head. The cops are running in there, dude, and it's just like the biggest melee riot I've ever friggin' seen in my life. They're pulling dudes out of the wheelchair. They're like shaking on the
It's
wheelchair.
like
going
Malice and Palace type shit.
dude.
That's what I'm picturing right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
like,
dude. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God. I'm like, we got to get out of here. But then everybody got out of there and they finished the show. I was like, oh my, yo, like nowadays, if that happened,
Yeah.
the show is over.
It made me think of the Party and Bullshit skit.
Right.
Like in the
Times 1,000.
Like imagine
yo.
if that was part of the show.
So that was my
Yeah.
first.
Because during Party and Bullshit, Biggie would do the whole fight on
Yeah,
stage, and then they would like all get and they'd break off and he'd finish the verse. But
yeah. No,
But it doesn't
what,
make
it wasn't that.
But
No.
these are during
No.
more conservative times. Like
I
hip
don't
hop
know
was
if
under
90
fire back then. Like
I don't know if this was conservative
Yeah.
back then. It was more of a free for all because I think at the time.
they just didn't know about
weren't
hip hop
ready-
shows
yeah,
or
they weren't
something.
ready yet.
Because you're saying that you say Edo G said that they weren't allowing hip hop shows
Boston,
in Boston.
from what Edo said, there was not really hip hop shows being done in the 90s in Boston because of violence. 80s, it was great. 90s, it was bad. So he
Huh.
said Snoop Dogg didn't play Boston until like late 90s. And then the company I worked for, Metro Concepts, was kind of the company that was the forefront of bringing hip hop shows back to Boston because the Middle East was open to it. But the other venues weren't
Is that how you kind of got your foot in the door right there?
with the Metro Concepts.
Yeah.
so there wasn't hip hop in there before you.
No, there was. Metro Concepts, Detonator Records, Detention.
Yeah.
There were other guys doing it. But consistently, those were the big three, I think.
And what
But
made
before we get into that, I just have to interject that my first hip hop show. My mother took me. It was a birthday. I was 12 years old.
Hold on, let me guess. Insane Clown Posse.
You wish.
Ah,
This is when I was still living in Connecticut. I hadn't even moved
Again.
to Michigan yet.
Insane Clown
I didn't
Posse.
know about ICP yet. I didn't know about that till I
You're
moved
from
to Michigan.
Detroit.
No, I was not. I lived in Connecticut
Oh.
before Michigan.
Oh, okay.
And I'm from LA. Thank you very much. That's why I'm such
I always
Can't-
think Michigan.
Can't you tell he's from LA?
Yeah,
No.
can't you-
Look at this guy.
What?
This guy
You
just
see it? You see the Cali gang
This guy
banger in
screams
me?
California sober,
Yeah,
right?
South
Yeah.
Central. Come on.
What was the show?
California-
I'm not even California sober because I hate weed. I'm just sober. I'm Detroit sober because I'll do ketamine.
So go ahead. Tell us about
So the show was right after. This was after Totally Crossed Out came out. It was Chris Cross with The Far Side opening up, and I've told you that before.
Did you? I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
probably. I mean, I tell everyone.
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Oh, that's sad.
But
Are you listening when I speak?
What made you?
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Like, want to jump from, since there's no hip hop in Boston, Metro
there was.
Metro starts doing it.
Well, but actually, there was crime at this show. Real quick, somebody got their purse snatched because I remember my mother was like, "That's it. We're never going to another hip hop show again." I knew this was bad. Somebody got their purse stolen.
Can't believe that.
Purse snatches.
I
Yeah,
can't
purse, right? Yeah, Onyx, right?
That's
Purse
even
snatch.
crazy because now you can't really even bring purses into the club.
Can you? You can't bring women.
Yeah,
can't
you
bring?
can. They just get searched.
They get searched. Yeah,
Yeah, they get
Okay.
searched.
yeah. It's like a whole. It's like a. It's not. Nothing's the same as it used to be.
Yeah.
Wait, but what was your first?
well-
what was your first show?
I don't know my first. I can't think.
My first concert was actually Primus, not
It was
even him.
Oh, really?
New Kids was my first concert.
Dean
New
the
Kids.
Machine would love that.
I
Oh,
seen
we're
some
gonna-
New Kids on the Block.
was
That's impressive.
was my first concert
impressive.
with like I think New Edition was part of it. Another Bad Creation. Yeah, the whole thing.
Not nearly as exciting as Criss Cross.
No,
and
I'm
the
trying
Far
to
Side
think.
opening up for them. Hush is 15 years younger than us, so let's find out what his first show was.
My first show.
Ice
was,
Spice.
Nah, Jam 94.5 Monster Jam.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, DMX, Eve.
Oh, that's a good one.
Maybe Destiny's Child too. I don't know. It was
You were there.
you'd
You
have
were
to
there
check
for
the
Destiny's
lineup.
Child.
But I know Jay-Z was like the headliner.
Yeah.
I saw Jay-Z after the Dynasty came out, and he had all the Rock La Familia with him, Beanie Siegel and Memphis Bleak, all the.
Did he
fucking
call
big-
you on stage so you could sign your albums?
This is before I was getting my album signed.
Oh, man.
Before I knew that was even a possibility. Although I found something amazing when I went to my parents' house.
Yeah.
It was I never remembered.
Sex tapes.
I never remembered even seeing Guru, but it was a Bald Head Slick in the Click CD signed by Guru.
Nice.
And I was like, oh shit. And then it started
How did
coming
you
back
say
to
that
me,
name?
and I think
Guru.
Guru.
You're giving me
Guru,
Serrano.
and I think
Name right.
I think Kabir was like the opener
Nice.
because it was on top of it was
Hold
a
on. No,
Kabir
no, no.
CD
What's-
signed by
fuck
Kabir.
all that. Let's get back to. Is that how do you say guru?
Guru
Why do you say it like that?
and Milk
Why do you
and Pello.
So we had
because I'm from Michigan.
we had
Cool
L-
Whip.
we
Why
had
do I
L-
say Guru?
we had LC to
How
the show
else do you
last
say
week,
Guru?
and it was driving him crazy.
What the
'cause
fuck? How else do you say Guru? Say Guru.
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 Guru. You gotta get the ooh.
The
in
ooze.
there.
Guru.
Guru.
He-
Guru.
LC was saying
Okay,
Serrato
I
instead of Serrato.
apologize.
He's calling Serrato. It was driving him up the fucking
Oh,
wall.
that was driving
And
me
then-
up the
and
wall.
you
Have you
call-
ever heard anyone call it Serrato?
I've never heard anyone call him Guru. What the fuck is that?
It's his
dude?
accent.
It's terrible.
Guru. That's my Michigan accent.
Okay, so
that's my
anyways.
Connecticut accent. That's
Boom-
my Los Angeles accent.
Boomman's doing their thing, right? And you step in. What made you think that you could partake and start to do hip hop shows? What made you want to?
You know, it was I was a DJ at the time, and I wasn't really going anywhere.
DJing for what? Oh, like
I
a
was in New
action-
Hampshire doing like house parties and like little bars like dollar drink nights and stuff like that. You know, just playing. You don't have to play the hits all the time, and hits was my thing.
You pressing
really.
up the flyers and shit at this point in time?
Not yet. I'm just basically showing up.
Showing
to
up and
the
doing
venue,
it?
yeah, that's
Were you
right.
getting paid back then? Because how old were you when you moved to Boston?
21, 22?
Oh, okay.
So like, I was DJing. Then I got moved to Boston in the music business when I was like, but then like the music business is literally crashing as I'm studying it, right? So like I'm in Northeast,
Napster era?
Napster era, right? And it's literally layoffs. Everyone is losing their job. Everything's going out the window. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? They're teaching me these things in school that are being like extinct as we are learning
Obsolete,
them,
yeah.
right? Like obsolete, right? So I'm like, dude, well, what am I going to do? Like, so the only presence I saw in hip hop was at the shows. So I was like, okay. I was young, I was 20 something.
Were you in school in New Hampshire or no?
I went and got my associates in the tech, and then I transferred into Northeastern. So I did have some schooling in New Hampshire, but I transferred into Northeastern.
Were you ever
music
studying music? Oh, for music
business.
business.
Yeah,
Okay.
Northeastern was music business. I had an associates in business management before that.
Okay.
So anyway, so I'm in Northeastern. So I'm like, okay, let me in one of the music business 101 classes go get an internship. So I went to Metro Concepts. I had to connect over there.
Yeah.
Shout out my boy Peter Parker. He brought me over there. I did an interview and I said, can I get an internship? And they said, come on in. And I was just a street team guy. They were doing grassroots marketing as well as shows. Like, when an indie album came out, a lot of Def Jux stuff back then, like, handing out flyers on the street. all the indie label boom that was going on at that time.
Yeah.
When independent labels,
Raucous Records and shit like that.
When that stuff was starting to take off, they were like the go-to guys, and they
Mm.
would run nationwide street teams. But I was the guy in Boston, one of the guys. But I wanted to get into the shows because I was like, it made sense to me. Like, you pay a headliner, you pay the venue, and then you try to get all the people in, and I like that idea of curating something, right?
Yep.
Putting together a good show. And that's what I did. And that's how it started.
What was your first show?
Royce the 5'9", Cunnilinguists, Tone Deaf, Pac FM.
Wait, all on the same bill?
Yep, same bill.
Oh, Royce the 5'9" was on that
Juice.
bill?
Your boy
Juice,
Juice,
yeah.
yeah.
J.U. Ice.
And Jay the S, a.k.a. Jake the Snake at the time.
Oh, the greater good for the
And that
greater
was the
good.
show, and I lost $3,000.
I was going to
Really?
say, how'd it go? Yeah.
Lost $3,000.
And at that age, 3,000 is a lot of money.
And that's 90s.
That's pretty much all I had left. All I had left in my bank account.
What year is that?
2004.
Oh, so that's even like 2004, $3,000.
So I'm
it's
at-
like $6,000.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
How did you manage to do that?
I overshot it. You know what I mean? I thought it was bigger than it was. I thought it was a sold out show. I was like, this is a fucking sold out show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
What's the
Because
5'9"
it's something
Middle
that
East
you wanted to
downstairs?
see. Yeah.
yeah.
Something
But
that you wanted
I
to
didn't
see.
realize, but you also remember back then, there's no social media. All you have is flyers on the street, a forum,
Yeah.
and maybe you get written up in the Phoenix or the Weekly Dig.
Yeah.
That's all your only promotional. And then 88.9 Night Watch report and the UGG store.
Oh, the Night Watch
the
report.
store. What was it? The concert announcer.
Oh, yeah.
UGG, yeah. Shout out UGG.
Yeah. Well, was it Adam Quest? Was he at the owner of UGG? Was he at Northeastern while you were there?
No, he was out of there already. I came
Okay.
in late. Yeah, I ended up spending like 7 years in college. It was crazy.
So you were a
Just
fan- so you-
trying
so you
to
were a fan of
spend
Wild,
money.
What? I did save money overall with Northeastern, but I was in school a long time.
Yeah.
though. It's a fifth year senior.
Yeah, I'm like
Van
John,
Wilder.
Wilder,
I'm like
yeah.
John Belushi in Animal House, like 7 years of college down the drain. So that's what happened there.
So when you lose $3,000, right, in your first show, what the hell makes you want to do that again?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wanted to do it. I wanted to learn. I said this is just pains of growing pains. So it's like, okay, what did I do wrong? Let me analyze that. Okay, I paid too much for it. There was too many artists I paid on that show. So let me downsize that. Go to the next show. And I did Ill Bill's album release party.
What was he releasing then?
What's Wrong with Bill?
Oh, nice.
Now, how do you, when you're getting these like Royce the 5'9", you're getting Ill Bill, like how are you even, from someone that has no contacts in the industry, how are you starting to get contacts in the industry?
Well, that was through Metro Concepts had introduced me to a few contacts. Now, back then, it's just email, right?
yeah.
If you don't have an email or phone number, forget it. There's no social
Yeah.
media like I can find these guys. Even the artists can't even get to the artists, really.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, you have to have email. So then I was able to get some of those because they had the contacts from working the clients. And a lot of those artists were clients that they were marketing.
How do you decide how much to pay an artist?
Well, that's what you have to estimate. That's where the talent comes in because then you have to think about how many people are going to come to this.
Yeah.
And you have to remove yourself from a fan perspective and be like, okay, what's this going to do? Well, what's my information? How do I know? Well, what did they play the market already? Have they played the market? What did that show do? Well, if you don't have that, okay, I don't know. Do they have a new album? Okay, do they have publicity? This is tough to predict. And then what do similar artists have done on that level? Is this artist bigger? But these things are all
Estimations.
these things are not fact. And even if an artist did 300 people the last time they're in Boston, they might not do 300 next time.
Right.
They might do 200.
Well, we've
150.
seen this. Speaking of like Ill Bill, he was upstairs at the Middle East at one point in time,
Yeah.
2012 maybe.
So when I did the Ill Bill show, it was Ill Bill, Q Unique, Creators,
Nice.
Boston,
Yep.
and Slaine,
Nice.
and we did that one, and that's when I started first working with Slaine.
Yeah. Were you his manager?
Yeah, pseudo manager. Me and Parker was pseudo managing him at the time.
Were you Bomb
You
Shot's
can't re- you-
manager?
No, I just made a mixtape for him.
For Slaine people, this is all the way back in White Man's the Devil days.
Yes.
Yes.
This is-
Which
I don't think we even had done yet at the time. So we had Slaine. I just got met with Slaine. We did like a little all Asia show with Slaine, and we were like, okay, we want to work together. We like your music. We love everything. And then it was like, okay, we'll get you on a big show. So then we got him on the Ill Bill show, and that was where I think he
met Ill Bill.
reunited with Bill.
Oh,
reunited.
reunited.
I think they already had met.
Okay.
But so they got closer, and then from there, I did another show with Leak Brothers, Cage and Tame One.
That's awesome.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Slaine was on that one, and we built him up on that one. And then this is when the momentum starts to build for Slaine. I lose money on Royce the 5'9". I lose money on Ill Bill. I lose money on Leak Brothers.
So
So
three in a row. You
Three
lose
in a
money.
row.
You still want to go.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm like,
How down are you now? 10K.
I owe people money at this point. I've borrowed from friends and family. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I don't know if this is gonna work.
But that's what it takes, though. Too. People don't get. That's a little slide by that people don't get. Like to bet on yourself, you have to do that. Like that's part of the deal.
Were you
like,
thinking about quitting?
yeah, of course.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
I'm just making sure.
And that's also part of the deal.
When you empty your bank account,
Yeah.
don't you think about quitting?
Oh, just
Maybe-
hearing that story makes me want to quit.
Maybe this. Well, you also have to have some skin in the game.
Right.
Because once you have skin in the game, now your back's against the wall. So now you really get creative with what you're really
Yeah.
going to do to make it really work.
And I got thrown a layup. Lucky for the grace of God. Master Killa had just dropped his No Said Date album,
Okay.
Okay.
and they wanted to do a show. And I was dealing with Devin from Nature Sounds, who was putting out the music at the time. And he's like, I want to do it. And I was like, at this point, I'm so conservative with what I'm going to pay an artist. I just, I tell him what it is, and we'll give you back end. And he's like, all right. He's like, but, I was like, but I don't know if Master Killa is going to pack this thing up by himself. And he's like, well, what if we add Inspector Deck to it? I'm like,
There we go.
let's do it.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
So I got a really good deal on that. And I was like, let's go. And I hit the road running with that one. And Slaine was on that one. JDS was on that one. Amadeus the Stampede was on that one. And, man, we packed it out that night. And it was, like, almost sold out. And it was just an amazing show. And I said, okay, I can do this now. It can be done. And we're going to do this. And just from there, I just started working, getting more savvy, more different angles, and just grew it from there.
For the first 3 shows, you're telling them what you're gonna, or you're paying them up front, or telling them what you're gonna pay them.
Or they're
upfront.
telling me what their fee is, and I'm agreeing to it.
Okay, but by this Master Killa Inspector Deck show, where you're gonna get a percentage of the cut.
Well, they got a small guarantee in the back end. So back end just means like once expenses are cleared, then they get usually like 80-85% of whatever comes in.
Okay,
From
but
your-
you're protected now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what's your biggest adjustment from those 3 shows to the shows that start making money?
My biggest adjustment was just like being conservative with the what you could pay an artist and downplaying it instead of thinking it's bigger, thinking it's less, and then also the opening act.
Is that what the fan aspect comes into it as well? Because you being a fan, you think someone is worth something,
right?
And then the actuality, the business of it is that's not the
And
truth.
being a fan,
Plus
you
you're
probably
talking-
wanted to impress them.
Plus, you're talking about getting people to leave, who work all day long, leave their house, get in a car, and go to a show.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing.
No.
So, these are scenarios that can change with the weather, health, all these other things can happen last minute. You could have 100 people that were ready to go, but then some shit happens, right?
Yeah.
So now they're not going, right? Who knows? Or there's a fucking Red Sox game that night, or the Patriots are playing, or like, who knows what's happening that day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very volatile business.
Yeah.
Very volatile.
Is there an example of something like that where you thought something was like a home run, and then like maybe the Patriots made the playoffs or something like that?
Tons of those. I can't remember the exact shows, but there was many scenarios where like this is going to do really well, but now we're in the playoffs with and then then the Patriots get really good.
Yeah.
The Sox got good. Celtics got good.
Oh, so that's not really great for your business.
No, with live music, it's not in Boston.
Yeah.
No.
And Boston being a huge sports city.
And hip hoppers loving sports.
Yes.
So like, dudes ain't coming out to the show unless it's someone they really want to see if we're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That is true of Boston, especially with the college, because you obviously cater to the college crowd, especially in that time. And the college kids are the ones that get drunk and go to the bars and go to the games when you're in the playoffs, and you get that live scene of the game, and they're packed bars, and that would be.
What were some?
I get it now.
What were some of the other? Because it's kind of amazing to just hear what these headliners you had. Who the headliners were that you had back then?
Before we get into that, can we touch on one local thing
Sure.
first?
Yeah.
Because I'm just starting to understand now the Slaine push.
Yeah.
Like you had a lot to do with the Slaine push.
In the beginning, yeah.
Yeah. So like just walk us through a little bit of that, because
Yeah.
obviously who George is now, Slaine is now, is like
Right.
he's come a long way.
Yep.
But what'd you see in him at the very beginning to even want to get behind
and
that?
you met him at All Asia.
I met it. I heard a song he did called "Never Gonna Die."
Oh, that was the name of his EP, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
How long
Yeah.
ago is this? Is way back.
2003, 2004, right around when I start. Right.
I have the Never Gonna Die.
It was on a Jay Saki Best of the Bean mixtape.
Okay.
And And I was like, who the heck is this guy? And they're like, and then somehow I heard that he was working with Lethal from House of Pain, and I obviously huge House of Pain fan.
Oh, even back then he was.
Yeah. So I'm like, I want to do a show with this guy. I think he's really good.
Lethal from Limp Bizkit.
Yeah,
More
that too.
important. No, I'm just kidding.
So then the story was so Slaine had already had a couple scenarios before that I met him. Like he was working with Lethal. They had done this thing called the Knockout Kings.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, I know. We got a train going by.
Okay. Did a project called the Knockout Kings. And he was had been out in LA and New York doing his thing. And he was back in Boston, kind of starting over. And he's working with Matty Trump, G Squared. These are both guys. I knew G Squared already. And Matty I met when I met Slaine. And with Matty Harris now.
Is Matty still over is in Cambridge, right?
No,
Newberry?
Matty's in LA mixing and mastering.
Okay, what was the name of that? That's
Waltz.
Was a studio in Cambridge though, on Newberry Street?
No, you mean no, it's not in Cambridge. It's in Boston.
Boston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boston.
What was the name of that?
Cyber Sound.
Cyber Sounds.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
At the time, we're in
yeah.
Waltz Studio. Waltz
Okay.
Studio was like the #1 hip hop studio at the time. So, anyways, so that was the backstory before I meet Slaine.
Mhm.
So then we're like, okay, me and Parker's on the radio. Peter Parker's on the radio. I'm starting to do
What radio station was he on?
Hot
then?
Night. Hot
Hot
Night.
97.
was,
We
okay.
had 90.
Back then.
We used to have 2 stations in Boston. There. Yeah.
So he's on the radio there. I'm starting Leedz. So we do got the shows on the radio.
And you and him grew up together.
Yeah, we did.
Why the name Peter Parker and Leeds?
Why those names?
Yeah, like did that because isn't Leeds did that
Yeah,
happen
it was
naturally?
Marvel. Yeah, it was Marvel.
Did you guys pick those?
He was
names?
already Peter Parker, and we were struggling with my name because I was like DJ Edu. Like it was like all right, and then we picked up a comic book, and it was Hobgoblin versus Spider-Man, and Hobgoblin's original name was Edward Leedz.
Ah, okay.
So he's like, oh, Edu Leedz. So that was my name for a while.
Makes sense,
So then I
though.
flipped it to Leedz Edutainment.
And
Wait, where did the edu part come from?
My real name's Ed.
From your from Ed. Yeah. I got
So I'm gonna go by Ned, but my legal name is Edward. So it's so anyways, so we're there. We grabbed Slaine. Slaine needed help at that time. He had a bunch of music,
Mm-hmm.
but it was he didn't know what to exactly do with it, and a lot of it was other beats, and it was like so we're like, yo, let's do a mixtape.
Yeah.
So I got all the music, and meanwhile we're putting him on shows. He's one of the main acts on opening acts, like one of the main opening acts. So he does he does Ill Bill, he does Leak Brothers, he does Master Killa, Inspector Deck, he does Cool Keith, he does but AZ was a big breakthrough performance with him. So we had the mixtape out. So during this time we make a mixtape called The White Man Is the Devil. So then I get all the songs.
is there a reason like the title of the title obviously is amazing.
Yeah. So the reason was we were sitting there and I'm like, I'm listening to this music and like Slaine is at this point we're coming out of the Oxycontin era, coming out of drugs. There's a lot of Southie is crazy
Decimated,
at this
yeah.
time,
It's-
right?
yeah.
Like Southie projects are just, it's not the Southie you see today.
Charlestown too.
Charlestown too.
Well, New Hampshire too, right?
Yeah, I mean everyone
everywhere,
gets
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
but Southie, Charlestown,
It was the epicenter.
Rosendale, basically, all these white kids from these areas were just that's what he was speaking of from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And other races too, but predominantly, this is where he was coming from. And so I get all this music and it's just so crazy. Like, we're doing drugs and I wasn't doing drugs at the time, but he was doing a lot of drugs. I was doing drugs, but not as bad as him.
How long you sober for now?
15 years. In
Congratulations.
April. Thank you. So anyways, we got this music. I'm listening to it and I'm like, and I was already making mixtapes at the time. So like I was a DJ, I had mixtapes, and my format of doing mixtapes was I would use movie samples.
Well, I was gonna say that
Yeah.
the Leeds intro was a big
Yeah,
Boston
yeah.
staple
Yeah.
for a while.
Right. So I would do because I'm a big movie buff, I would tie in movie samples with songs and connect it. So I was like, all right, let me do this on something exclusive. So like I grabbed all this music, had all these crazy drugged out movie samples, because I had, done a lot of drugs up to that point. I was taking a break and I was like, oh, this is going to be like my exit to it. Like when
Yeah.
Oliver Stone writes Scarface,
Yeah.
like he wrote that because he was like trying to get sober in Florida, and he wrote Scarface.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
had no
yeah.
idea.
He quit cocaine, and that was his farewell.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
this was gonna be your farewell.
So this was
Yeah.
planning to be my farewell. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna, because I had done a lot of cocaine,
And just to preface this, what you created with White Man is the Devil Part 1
Yeah.
is like the equivalent of what Cypress Hill did with Black Sunday for stoners who just smoked weed, but you did it for Oxycontin and cocaine users.
yeah.
So God bless you. Well, that should get the clap right there.
So like, I had these Requiem for a Dream samples. I had these. I had all these. I had what else did I have? Gothica. I had all these because I loved movies about drugs. So I had all these Spun. I had the movie Spun. What was the other one? The intro is, what movie is that? It's with all the jurors on it. Oh man. Once was a man who lived upstairs. Oh, what the heck was that one? But I just had an archive, and I knew what I wanted to do with this mixtape.
So this is the equivalent of when an artist like J. Rue the Damager comes out with The Sun Also Rises. It's
Yeah.
like your debut album is everything you've been thinking of.
I knew how to make that mixtape like this ferocious roller coaster ride through hell and back.
Which,
right?
like, it is hands down the greatest thing. I appreciate you because Volume 2 you put me on.
I have to ask.
But 1 is the greatest thing, hands down, to ever come out of Boston, music wise.
It really was.
Nothing touches that to this day.
I want to ask Slaine the same thing when I see him. Is like listening to that album now. Do you cringe?
I haven't listened to it in so long, but I think I'm gonna. What bothers me about it?
Let me preface it because of your sobriety, right? And I want to preface the question on this because it was what he just said. It was such a big deal. That was the anthems for the kids doing the drugs. In the time of it, right? You're like, this is fucking cool because like you're in it, and like you don't see it when you're inside
Listening
of it.
to that fucking
But now if
album,
you
you
go
felt like you were snorting.
One at a time,
Hold on.
buddy.
So, but now all the kids that, and I don't want to get too like morbid, and we'll get off it quick, but like all the people that have died through that, and all the lives that have been destroyed through that, and shit, and like you did kind of give them, and now Slaine has like a rehab and everything. So I mean, it's been.
Well, it wasn't like we were trying to promote it. We were saying what it was.
What it was.
Right. And if you listen to some of those samples, there's clue. It's not pretty.
No. Slaine has never been pretty with the drug. He's never glorified.
He's definitely glorified.
Well,
but like he's but it was like I wanted to paint the picture of like this is bad too.
Yeah.
So like I would put these samples in where it's like, oh, I don't have a problem. I can quit any time. And then the hell that is in it. Like dancing with the devil, when you dance with the devil, you change. The devil doesn't change, but you change.
Addiction's gross.
Right. So like all this crazy stuff like dying, overdose. This is what I wanted to put in there too, because it, as much as, when you first start doing drugs, it's like da-da-da-da, but then like 2 days up, 3 days up, you're going crazy. It's the whole ride.
Did you do opiates?
No, they never agreed with me. Thank God. But I did a lot of Xanax, but never like perks or oxys.
You ever
I would
overdose?
get sick. Nearly, a couple times.
A couple times.
But did you start using drugs again while you were making that album?
No, because I was smoking weed, so I was like, smoking weed, putting this thing together. Now, what sucks about this is I had done it on a 4-track. So I wasn't using Pro Tools yet. So
Holy
the
shit.
sound quality of it is not what it should have been. So if you notice, like some of the cocaine sniffs are like way too loud.
You can remaster it now.
Holy shit. 4
No,
tracks,
I don't think I
bro.
could. But anyways, so we did that, and then
Wait, why couldn't you remaster it now?
I don't think I have the files for
Okay.
it. But so I did it all on a 4-track, which was like live mixing almost, and it was done. And Slaine, I don't think Slaine was like, oh yeah, Leedz and Pac on a mixtape. I don't. When I got in the studio and I had that ready to go,
Yeah.
him and Maddie listened, and they're like, oh my God, what the heck is this? And they were like, this thing is a friggin' movie. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And they were like, holy, they couldn't believe what they were listening to because they thought this was going to be like a Chubby Chub mixtape or whatever.
Right.
They had no idea what I did up until that point. Parker was like, they thought, oh, just Parker's going to host this mixtape and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bang. And then it came out. And it just became like, it just spread like wildfire, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah.
Been
You're
sleeping
thinking about flowers again. Valentine's
through
Day.
the city, you know,
Yeah.
and Slaine was hand to hand in them. And it was just like, yo, everybody was like, who the hell is Slaine after that?
Hush. Do you remember when that album came out, being a young kid? Did you get did that reach all the way to Quincy and you?
Oh, it did all right.
did.
His crew was not happy about that album at all.
I didn't mind it, but
Yeah,
the
your
people I
big
was
brother
around-
did. I'll tell you, your big brother Oblivious had a big problem with that album.
Oh, was that was the whole?
Oh, that's where it all
The
started.
first time, well, see,
I
I was
didn't
I was
even know-
into like I was young. I was
You were,
doing
like,
perks
16.
and oxys at like 14.
Yeah.
Like and first time I seen Slaine, he was opening up for Cage,
Yeah,
and he had
Elite
like some
Brothers.
hype man. I don't know who the hype man was to this day,
White
but the
Mike
hype man
or-
was in this like winter jacket. It was
KO.
hot as hell.
KO.
Eyes bulging out of his head, and I'm just like, this is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crew that Slaine would show up to shows
Yeah.
with.
His
was
his,
scary.
his motto was like, I got to be hotter than anyone in the crowd.
Yeah, because
that
he
was
had the
his
whole
thing.
DMS,
yeah,
drug
yeah,
money,
yeah.
sex.
And I was like, those guys were like, they were pretty scary, but if you gave them respect and you talked to them, and
Yeah.
they'd be cool. You know what I mean? But like, don't cross those guys, and don't they'll be cool with you, but if you cross the line, you're in trouble. So don't cross the line. And that's a lot of people unfortunately cross the line. But you know how to talk to people, and I had a couple run-ins in the beginning, but we got that squared away. Luckily, Slaine saved my ass a couple times from getting beat, but.
So when you
Yeah, these are like real Boston gang. This is like a real gang here. Yeah, it's
pretty
great.
much.
Wait, but what was the deal with his brother? And
His boy, older brother. I call it. It's not his actual brother, but Oblivious, Donnie Brooks.
okay, yeah.
They looked at it a different way. They looked at it as you're glorifying drugs. Our people, our family are ODing here, dying. This is not fucking cool. And I get that now. But at the time, I was like very defensive. I was drinking, and we were like, "Oh, fuck you," you know what I mean? So it became a war between Quincy and us for a little bit. And the Quincy crew is just, dude, you guys are diehard, man. You knock them down and get up 40 fucking times. It doesn't matter. They're survivors. So, but luckily we squashed it. It got a little hectic, a little too hectic for a while.
Like,
but,
what is hectic? What was going on?
I mean, it was just shit being said that shouldn't have been said.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Lines are being crossed, and myself included. And but luckily, we came around, we fixed that, and everything's all good.
and that's kind of what I wasn't even thinking. I didn't even think about that part of it. I forgot about that. But I was meaning more along those lines that like, because even me looking back on it now, I'm looking like, because I'm in your 40s now. You look back on some of that music and shit. In all music, you're like, in all movies and stuff, you're like, well, was that necessary? Like, was that absolutely necessary? I mean, in the time when you're doing it, it's cool and you're in it, But then you kind of get older, you have kids or whatever, or nephews and nieces and shit, and you're like, I don't know if I'd want my fucking kids listening to this shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, you
Like,
have people
but the
die.
thing is,
and you're
like,
well, that's what I'm saying. People literally
Yeah.
died.
Yeah, and it was like
There's a lot of people on this wall.
that CD, if you listen to it all the way through, does not end on a positive note. You know what I mean? It ends like you're gonna die, or you're gonna come close to death. That was the whole thing. It is the scene where I sampled Jacob's Ladder, and if you've ever seen that movie,
I haven't seen
So
it.
Jacob's Ladder is about a man who goes to Vietnam. They give him this experimental drug, and they all kill each other. The whole platoon kills each other. But he's dying, but he has a dream that he's back home after the war.
Okay.
But he's actually in the war dying. And he learns about everything, but he's like tormented by his demons. And there's this scene at the end where they wheel him in, and they're like, you're dead. You're here, you're dead, and we're gonna operate on you. He's like, I want to live. I don't want to die. And they're like, you're gonna die. And that was the outro of the mixtape. And then he gets revived. And he hears and then it comes back into the last song, and that's when it says the devil. You dance with the devil. The devil doesn't dance, but you change, or something along that lines. Like, you don't change the devil. The devil changes you.
Yeah.
And we should also like, just say during this that Slaine, I mean, what, like 20 or sober? He's got to be like.
No,
50,
he's a little. I think he's
less
a
than
little
10?
under 10.
10.
Yeah, he's lucky to be alive.
Yeah, I mean, but he's actually at the point now that he works like help open a rehab. So I mean, a lot of this. I'm just making sure that anything in this middle of this doesn't get lost in that you're sober now, he's sober now, he's working in the industry on the recovery industry.
Right.
So I mean, it all ended up with a good story at the end of the day.
But at that time.
But we made it out alive. Like
Yeah.
me, Slaine, and Maddie with the big three on that one.
you
Were-
got this guy right here. You know what I'm saying? You got the guy. That's Mize.
yeah, no, but I'm saying on that project.
No, I
right?
know. Yeah.
So Maddie was the engineer on it. I put it together. Slaine's rapping on it, right?
Yeah.
All three of us are sober that made that album.
Right.
Parker is Cali sober, but and by volume 2, I start using cocaine. You know what I mean? That's why the intro it says like no coke Leedz, because I just start going nuts, right? And
which actually goes into when I met you.
right. Then that's when I as a farewell I made to that, I get sucked back into it. And I go on that
just
journey.
because you were around Slaine and he was using so much coke and Maddie was.
When you start drinking, drinking and cocaine is a vicious combination. I'm sure you know.
Well, I was gonna say
take your inventory, but when you start drinking and you get that combination in you, it's very hard to drink without it.
Yeah.
And when all your friends are doing it and selling it, and you're there, and you're just like, your famous words, "Ah, fuck it." I'll do a bump. Then a bump turns into
just one,
a gram.
Yeah.
And then a gram turns into an 8-ball, and then you're up for 3 days, and you climb the rooms going fucking crazy.
I mean, just to paint the picture, Slaine would pick me up from UGG. No, Slaine would come over and to my house.
Yeah.
I lived in the South End, and we'd do coke all night, and then he would drop me off at UGG on no sleep in the morning, and I'd have to do like a line to like wake myself up enough to do order processing to work all day. Yeah. And he would continue, I assume, just drinking and snorting his way through the day.
Yeah.
So
it's either that or you fucking gotta swallow a zillion Xanax to go to sleep, and
both.
Or like chug a bottle of booze. I mean, we're lucky to be alive.
Yeah,
bottom line.
A lot of us are, yeah.
But that music was that. I mean,
no, it was real.
It was real, and it hadn't really been that story hadn't really been told yet.
Well,
either.
also
in
America too, like the encapsulation of that. Also, like probably not at the time you don't realize it, but that's one of those albums that does encapsulate that because I'm in America. That was a big part of fucking America for it still is. I mean, but that front end of it, like during that time, like that's almost like a time capsule of that.
Yeah,
it's
you had people robbing pharmacies for OxyContin. Because coke at that time, cocaine. It was like hip hop was like you sell it, right? But you don't talk about doing it.
Right. Very different from now.
It was very taboo. Because during the 90s and stuff, it was the parents that were getting hooked on crack and coke in New York. You know what I mean? So the kids grew up with coke, drug addicted parents. Our generation, their parents were the drug addicts in New York.
Yeah.
They were getting in the ghettos and shit like that, and all in the cities. That's what was getting really corrupted by that drug. So the kids, like our generation, grew up being like, "Yo, no, right? Like you sell it, all right, but don't you fucking do it."
So fucked up.
So when we were coming out saying like we were doing it, like this was like,
yeah, you were ahead of your time.
No, it was bad,
like
but
where
it
you
was
are.
a reason it's bad.
Yeah,
but like it was like people were keeping it quiet up until that point.
Yeah.
People were doing it, trust me, but they weren't rapping about it.
In a weird way, so at some point, like, the Slaine thing had to, like, shift from, like, local artists to, like, starting to become semi-national, starting to become national, movie roles and shit. Do you think that helped it?
What, him? The shows?
The whole, that whole, like, persona of drugs.
Well,
yeah, because I would think that would hinder.
The timing
you would think so, right? It would hurt it.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely cost him he'll tell you.
But I'm saying the image of it, do you think that helped propel the stardom of Slaine?
The timing of all this is just so amazing because everything I just told you, we're on the shows and like that. And one of the last shows we did, Chris Verone writes a big Herald article about Slaine because he performed on it. That's usually the only way you could get a write-up is you had to have a show going on. Ben Affleck sees that article.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sees the article. Wow, who's this guy? Let me cast him in Gone Baby Gone. So
from that article,
right. So you have Departed has just come out. Yeah. So now Boston is getting. You have a fucking Best Picture movie.
Yeah.
Out about Boston. Now you got this guy Slaine. Ben Affleck makes Gone Baby Gone, throws Slaine, which in the movie, which has one of the most powerful.
Yeah, Bubba's awesome.
One of the most powerful scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then at the same time, La Coca Nostra forms. Yeah. So now you got Everlast, Ill Bill, basically a House of Pain supergroup meets nonfiction meets this guy from Boston named Slaine, all within like a few years, and it's boom.
Yeah, what year was that? And
then
2006 or 5-6 or something like that.
So then you have all that. So Slaine now.
That's right when I was on ERS.
And right when I
you
met
guys.
you.
You
all
guys.
The same time I met all you guys.
And the funny thing I remember about Slaine is we did so many interviews, and after every interview he would personally call me to ask me like, can we not air that interview?
Yeah. 'Cause I mean, when we did ours for Volume 2, he was in complete blackout.
At WERS.
Yeah,
Was he?
Yeah.
I think I put that in the DVD though.
Yeah.
But I had like us also like
Yeah.
snorting coke on
Yeah.
film, so we could bring
I mean,
those out someday.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Throwback.
It's just like this vicious cycle you get in, where it's just like you drugs. It's just everywhere, And if you get in these circles where it's just everywhere, and you don't have, and you don't have the tools to say no, you're gonna get sucked.
But
in.
he also gets known for it as a rapper that's rapping about cocaine. So everywhere he goes, people are going to offer
And
him
it wasn't
cocaine,
that-
do
yeah,
cocaine with him.
Yeah, let me do
And he's
cocaine
like,
with
yeah,
Slaine.
he's
I literally
expected.
have seen it too. Like I had seen it, but we go to parties and like people would run over with their bag of coke, like, please do coke with me right now. And I was like, oh my god,
which is a weird power. Like that's just a weird.
But that sucks to like grow up.
How do you
like,
say no to
get,
that?
Well, how do you get?
How do you say no to that with a few drinks in you?
Also, you want to
Right.
expand your fan base, so like you want to give people don't meet your hero
you end,
shit.
You end up in some when you're doing
Yeah.
blow. You end up in some places you're like,
I wouldn't know.
darn, yeah, well, good for you. Don't ever learn. It's like you end up like, why was I in the bathroom talking to that guy for
Wait, you
3
didn't
hours?
I've never learned a thing in my life. I've never learned a thing in my life.
But yeah, so I mean, we're all, for the grace of God, lucky to live. And like I said, I got sober 2009, and I'll, like I said, be celebrating some 15 years sobriety in April, and
Congrats, man.
never went back to that life again.
Which is just so crazy because you continued being a hip hop promoter.
did.
You actually took over as the general manager at Middle East, the
Yep.
biggest hip hop. I
Yep.
mean, the biggest music venue in
did.
Massachusetts.
Slaine, I mean,
How do you be around that working all night?
I was in recovery, so like, first of all, I'm not throwing away my career because I have a drug and alcohol problem. I worked harder for that than anything else. So I didn't want to lose it. So I knew I needed help. I tried to get sober a couple times on my own. I just couldn't do it. So I had to go into pro. I had to go to meetings. I had to go do all that and built myself a strong support group because I knew day 2 sober, I'm back in the Western Front. You know what I mean? Doing a hip hop show, chugging Red Bull. And I'm like,
Yeah,
gritting my teeth.
that's sober Ian right now. Sugar free.
Smoking 2 packs of friggin' Parliaments, just trying to like not drink.
quit that too?
Yeah, got rid of that too.
Excellent.
So
I wish we could bring up some old fat
I
Leedz
actually
photos.
I have a picture that we'll bring up
Bloated
at the end
photos.
of it. Yeah. Well, I have a picture.
anywho,
I
yeah, I look like shit. I was like,
Yo,
a pale,
you're the only person who has just aged backwards.
I got a picture
you look
of me and you
younger
at
now than you did
Paradise.
20 years
well,
ago.
sobriety for that one, I'll tell you.
Me and you at Paradise. You don't look that great.
Yeah, I probably didn't.
I don't either, though. In fairness.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So if you build yourself a strong recovery group and you go to meetings, and you have people you can call that are sober, and you have those tools in your tool belt, you can walk into any environment.
Yeah.
And not drink and drug as long as you know your exits. I know that you can get out of there if it gets edgy. So like I was working at the Middle East, I couldn't get out of there, but I could walk out, make a phone call. Listen, I really feel like drinking and doing some drugs right now.
And did you have to make that call?
Anytime,
Okay.
of course, man. I mean, especially that first year. That first year, you're going through things for the first time sober.
Oh God, I remember your Facebook that first year.
God, Jesus,
so
man.
many
I'm
cringe posts.
I'm so glad it doesn't. They started the memories on Facebook after that because God, it was so bad.
Man, it was
So
like it was like
emotional.
life sucks. Everything's horrible. Like his posts
I
were
went out
so emo. It was like I'm like this is the most emo shit I've ever fucking read.
You feel things that you never thought you felt when you get sober.
Absolutely.
You're like, I never felt that. What is this feeling? Why am I crying 5 times a day? I don't even know why.
You were crying onto Facebook 5 times a day.
No, it was we call it emotionally throwing up.
Yeah.
And it was all a cry for help and attention at the time, but it was my only outlet, because I was going through other shit too. I had some really, really traumatic shit happening to me, and I was like, I was losing it. And for the grace of God, I didn't drink, but man.
Whoa, what else was going on?
I can't really talk
I was just
about
going to
that.
see. I'm taking a
I'm
journalistic
gonna just say, I
liberty right there to
no.
just see.
That one,
see.
that one can't go on camera.
It's kind of funny, like you're sitting here too. I mean, I'm 2 years no alcohol now, a little over that. He's almost almost 9 months or something like that.
April 15th.
Would you
Not
ever-
that anyone's
would-
counting.
Would you ever even think like that? I mean, like it's just all the people that I've seen.
You told me one day you said one day you're going to be at AA.
I didn't say AA. I said meeting.
A meeting. Okay. Well, yeah, you said a
Do
meeting.
you do meetings?
I haven't. I still
He's
haven't
dry.
done that.
He's
but
dry.
I'm dry.
He refused. He's stubborn. He won't do it.
I never needed those. Like, I mean, everyone's different for their shit. I mean, everyone.
Me, I needed. I'll tell you first off. I needed it because I needed to go somewhere and see some people that were doing what I needed to do because I was.
You'd never need examples.
When I got sober, I was one of the first in my
First
group.
ones, yeah, that's true as
So
well,
I was
too.
like, Maddie was sober, but Maddie ended up moving. So it was like I was to LA. So I was just like, man, I gotta build a whole new network of friends.
Yeah.
So and then still participate in this melting pot of drugs and alcohol called Leedz
Yeah.
Edutainment and everybody I worked with.
Did your business improve?
Absolutely.
Like
Within
money,
a few months,
financially?
I went from having $500 in my bank account to $5,000 within like a couple months.
Yeah,
Wow.
people. That's one of the things that people don't like.
Yo.
All of a sudden, you look in your closet, you have like clothes and shit in your closet. How the
Yo.
fuck did I get the like all? You have like nice things all of a sudden. Like, how
I
the
didn't
fuck?
look. I didn't look better right away because I was like giving myself permission to eat whatever I wanted as long as I didn't drink. So I was just eating shit.
I remember that you came to UGG and you were like, yeah, it doesn't matter what, like, it's fast food and then the gym. You started going to the gym.
I was going to the gym, but it wasn't.
But you were
I was
like
eating,
pounding double cheeseburgers and shit.
Well, I was just eating whatever I felt like eating. I was
Yeah.
like, sometimes that's all you got when you first get sober. Like, I got to give myself something good, right? Because
Yeah.
everything feels so.
Is this why a lot of people go to? Everyone's smoking cigarettes outside of AA.
I was smoking more sober than I was when I got high.
I bet
can
you're
you
just
bring-
anxious and you have nothing to get rid of the anxiety.
Can you put that mic a little closer to you?
Yeah,
please?
sorry.
Thanks.
Every feeling, every emotion, I'm lighting up a cigarette. You know what I mean? And my anxiety levels. I mean,
But yeah, you spearheaded the getting sober,
spearheaded.
the move towards sobriety amongst your peers.
No, I
no,
didn't.
you said it was Maddie, but he moved.
yeah, Maddie had 6 months on me.
Okay, but can you describe those last 3 coked up days in your apartment?
Oh, God.
And describe it in the same detail you did
love
over
this
dinner.
story.
I know. The way you described it over
trying-
dinner was so good.
Well, I was trying to give you a good war story. So
Yeah.
So you realize you're not alone.
What? Right? Because I was
All right, so
whining
you
about
want
how
my-
life. Yeah.
You want
Hold
my
on.
last-
Now you have to give the preface now. Why were you trying to give him a war story so he knew he wasn't alone? Don't let him just put you on the block.
He just
Bring
said
him-
he was
bring him-
sober. I'm
bring
not-
him with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, let him talk
this
about
was
it.
Yeah, this was after I'd been sober like half the
But you
time
know,
I
you
have
know
been
him well
now.
enough. Don't let him set you up. Bring him right down. Bring him right down with you.
Well,
But,
you know, this is what we do when you
Exactly.
get sober. We trade war stories. And
Well, I don't know how you let me operate at the Middle East as like I'm here with WERS and UGG, and I'm blackout for
Yeah.
every single fucking show you were throwing, running around with the cameraman.
So he's basically
And a camera.
He's blaming you.
No, I'm just like the fact that you allowed that you allowed me to talk to these headliners that you had just
you
like
were
brought in.
harmless, though.
I was harmless, and I always knew how to get out of a fight.
So you want to know my last
Yeah.
run?
Yeah, your last run.
Jizza show, Harper's Ferry. Bucket list, like I'm doing the fucking Jizzer at Harper's Ferry. This is like Wu-Tang was everything. As
And
a
and
kid.
he's the one who said MCs had to snort cocaine just to act insane.
Yeah.
You know.
And
This is early 2000s.
yeah, this is 2009, and I'm there. I'm like Jizza, right? And I'm like, but really, what I want to do is go home and do a bunch of drugs. Is really what I'm thinking about because, like, at this point, I'm doing it all the time, and I'm already. I had a couple drinks in me, and I'm like, all right, call the guy, and I get like, I don't remember how much it was, but it was a good amount, and it was like rocket fuel, cocaine from Brockton, which at the time had the best nose candy. And took a couple of rips, a couple of whacks in the bathroom. I'm like, woo, all right. Now I'm like, let's get out of here. And the show's going, and I'm not even watching Jizza. Not that he's the greatest performer, but just saying I should have been watching it. And
You got other things on your mind at this
I'm
point.
just like, I want to get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to get out of here and go home and get
But
back
you're doing all the drugs there, so why?
Yeah,
do
but
you-
it's not the same because it's
yeah,
like
you just want you're
you know what I mean?
you're
Like,
set up and you don't want to have to go into the bathroom.
I can't really do it like I want to do.
Yeah,
And
which is all of it at once.
and Harper's Ferry didn't really have a good bathroom to do blow in. And so I'm like, just get out. So I'm rushing, and I'm not even, I'm just out. I go home, and I think I was with Right Hook that night, and one of his boys, and we just start banging them out. And I just finished the Amadeus, the Stampede, House of Broken Mirrors album, which is another one.
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna
right-
say, Jesus, another.
that one's even darker than
yeah,
Slaine.
that is even darker.
And then
That was a great album too.
it was. And then I'm listening to it, and I'm fucking banging them out, just listening to it. And then they end up leaving, and they end up leaving, and I just keep going and going and going. And then I had a pile of Xanax. I had like a little, like a little glass case of like Xanax that I just had my ex-girlfriend at the time, could get them, and so I got an unlimited amount of those.
Yeah.
So I had
good.
those, and I lived above a liquor store.
Oh, that's
well,
great.
keep
So we're
adding to it.
So my routine would be when Coke was gone that I'd go down to the liquor store, grab myself a pint of E&J.
Oh,
Thing, yeah, I know.
this
you
keeps
know.
getting worse.
Thing of ginger ale. Get myself one of those. I had those big gulp friggin' cups, so I'd fill the whole pint of E&J.
Because Biggie said that E&J and ginger ale, so now we all just drank that.
No,
shit.
I just was the cheap option at the time. So then you dump the E&J into the big gulp, then you'd fill the rest of it up with ginger ale, and you chug it.
Oh, this
Oh
is
yeah, I know. I do the same thing.
Chug the
It's
thing
terrible.
and swallow 3 or 4 Xanax. Except that would usually put you out.
Didn't
but,
do that.
But this time I'm not going out.
and you're
I'm like-
chain smoking cigarettes the whole
Oh
time.
yeah, and I'm in my bedroom,
Ugh.
and it's like noon. You know what I mean? The world is. It is a bus stop outside. I hear people going on the bus stop and people going about their lives, and I'm like, I can't even. I'm like pacing my room. I don't even want to leave my room like at all. You know what I mean? To like go into the kitchen. I'm just like, please just go to sleep, please. And I just started getting all these like, it's like in those movies you get those psychosis like flashbacks and like my whole life is flashing for me, and like I look in the mirror, and I'm like shaking, pale, fat, white guy, lurch looking,
Pasty.
just like you're gonna die. You're gonna die. Heath Ledger had just died, and I was like, he was my age, so I was like, I'm next. And I know I come from a long line of drug addiction and alcoholics. I know what happens. You know, I know what's next.
Yeah.
So and that was the day I called. I said I'm done, and I picked up the phone.
Wait, so did you go to sleep or you were still?
No. So I pick up the phone. And I go. I called Maddie. And I was like, Maddie, I need help. I need you to take me to a meeting. He's like, you all right? I'm like, I'm all right. I think I'll be all right for now. But my heart's going 100 miles an hour, and I just prayed. I was just praying to get through get through the day and the night. And I got through that day by the grace of God. And the next morning I went to a meeting, and that's why I started my journey. Right like that.
That's just crazy.
And did you ever rebound?
Relapse?
Or relapse,
No.
yeah. Rebound?
Rebound, yeah.
No, I never. Relapse is not part of my story yet. I say yet because it's always a
That was
possibility.
a possibility.
So, but I ain't trying to.
You getting sober was shocking, but Slaine getting sober was
Yeah.
something I never thought I would
So-
see in my life.
So in AA, I shouldn't say AA. So that not allowed to say that. In the program, strike that from the record. In recovery, there's always those guys that you think might not make it. Like this guy's so bad that I don't know if he's gonna make it. Slaine was one of those guys because he had tried so many times and he just couldn't get it. He had tried getting sober before I met him.
Okay.
You know, he had already nearly died before White Man the Devil Volume 1 was out.
Yeah.
And, you know, but he was always a drinker first. The drugs kind of came, but booze was always first.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it was like, dude, like, he'd clean up for a little bit, but then it just looked like it was never going to happen. And he would tell you that. He'd be like, I'm the one in the book that they say can't recover. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he'd quote things that allow him to, like, stay out there. So we'd be like, I'm like, we all wanted him to get sober. But we were all at one point, at a certain point, you're like, dude, I don't know if he's going to ever get it. He's going to die. And then one day,
Well, he was saying in retrospect that he was in the hospital
many
every week.
times. Yeah, many times. I mean,
I didn't realize how serious it was.
at the end, I didn't really see him much. He was in LA bouncing back. I didn't really see him in, like, when you're sober, your drunk and drug addict friends don't really want to be around you. You're a total buzzkill to them. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, who wants, call this guy? I'm not going to hang out with Leedz unless,
Right.
So
The best that can happen is I
So
feel
then,
bad.
like, when he got sober again, when he got finally sober, he was like, I was like, okay, again, we'll see how long this lasts.
Yeah.
But then it was like, but something was different this time. he started speaking about a higher power. He started talking about spiritual things, and he had something different this time. And I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. And then 6 months go, a year goes, and then he gets wicked diehard with it. He dove in this time. Instead of being like on the outside, he dove in this time. And his recovery, I mean, he became a diehard, and it's great seeing his journey because he takes his recovery so serious because he has to. Because a guy like that and a guy like me and guys like some of us have to because it's life or death.
Yeah.
Because there's no half measures in it.
Mm-hmm.
You either do it as it's laid out or you drink and do drugs for a lot of us.
Right.
So I do it that way. He has his method. I have my method, and we both stay sober, like many other people.
So,
But he has really jumped in. You know, he has his recovery center he's a part of. I mean, his music is a lot about that.
I was gonna say now, like obviously your friend getting sober is great for
Right.
you. What do you think about the new music? Think it got better or worse?
I personally like it because he's coming from a place of recovery. I don't know how someone who's still using drugs perceives that, though. You know, like if I'm still getting high, am I going to want to listen to someone?
What do you think about the skill level?
Better?
Better. I think
Yeah,
so. I
yeah,
think
really
better
good.
as well.
I think he's a better, deeper writer.
Yeah.
He's not as fast as he was. I mean, I've seen him bang out 3 songs with 3 verses in one night.
Yeah, when
Yacked out.
banging out a bag of coke. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because he would just say anything on
Yeah.
that, right? And it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be like, I can only imagine him listening to his music sober, be like, God, I said that, you know, like because that's the thing about cocaine. Like,
Yeah, that's
you'd
what I
wake
was
up
asking.
the next day and you'd be like, oh man, I said that. Why did I say that? That was a secret I thought I was holding for 20 years.
well, that's what I thought you were gonna say about the White Man Can't White Man's the Devil album. Like you were so fucked up for all those years.
Yeah.
When you finally got sober, you were like, and you finally heard it. Like, ah, shit. We
I
admitted
listened to
that.
those records like that one and Amadeus the Stampedes and Right Hook stuff, but to me it's just it's part of our experience.
Yeah.
Like all of us had to go through that experience, and now that experience that we've been through and survived by
You
the grace
become the
of God.
master.
Well, not the master, but we can share that experience with someone that's struggling
Well, the
too.
teacher. That's what it
Right,
is.
what I'm saying is like
Yeah.
someone can. No, they have the saying, you know, no matter how far down the trail we have gone, our experience will help somebody.
Yeah.
KRS-One was saying something that said the master because he described it as like you go through what you go through and you become the master, which teaches the next
Right.
generation of the skill set to advance
Right.
past that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
If you like, you know, if you want to learn about running a podcast studio, you want to go talk to someone who's done it.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing with recovery. It's like, yo, this person has been through what I've been through and has gone through life in a certain way.
Well, like to step away from that, like how does it make you feel though, watching one of like your projects and one of your friends work his ass off and get to? I mean, Slaine, the biggest act out of Boston. I mean,
I don't know about biggest, but you know,
hip hop act. No,
I mean, he's the biggest, but I think
Maybe
like,
Joyner's bigger
Oh,
because he
well,
did
it
songs with
Joyner's
Eminem.
it comes in waves. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
but I mean,
biggest-
seeing that and like, I mean that the work ethic to
at
get
the
to there.
at the time when Slaine was coming out with everything I said about La Coca and the movies, yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, I mean, so to see someone like that must make you feel amazingly proud. Like
Yeah,
to see
I had
that
a
your
part of it,
your
yeah.
work be put into something like that.
Yeah, I definitely played a role. I
Do you-
wasn't the only person, but
Obviously. Do you think that like your mixtapes, like the way you made that mixtape, do you think that changed the mixtape game in Boston?
No, because it wasn't really. I think, and that's funny because I hear other DJs now using movie samples, and at the time I was really the only one doing it. I hear like people making little quirky mixtape things, like
Yeah.
the introverted DJ does it. You know what I mean? Like mixtapes at that time was basically just the host screaming and yelling.
That's what I mean by
But
that.
no one really went that direction. Bad News had
Yeah,
his
the
little
Falling
falling
Down
down one. Yeah, but that was really the only
Yeah, I
other
like that
thing.
one. Were you working with Slaine when he was in La Coca Nostra?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you have any memories from just working with Ill Bill?
No, I wasn't.
Everlast,
He was going out to L.A. and recording those sessions, but I had to act. He would always play us those songs
Yeah,
before they came out.
that's dope.
Yeah. That was great. That was great because we all wanted Everlast to come back rapping.
Yeah,
And
That was crazy.
And when he did, it was like that show we did White Man is the Devil Volume 2 release party with Ill Bill. The Future Is Now, I think Volume 2 release party. We tied them together.
Yeah.
And that's when La Coca came out and Everlast made that surprise visit at the Middle East. And
That
they
was-
did
I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
He was there.
And that show for me was like, oh my god! Like I was only a promoter for a couple of years.
Well, that was my next question. Now, like, when did you realize that? Holy shit! Like, I'm doing it. Like,
yeah, then
that was it right there.
I have Everlast surprisingly showing up at my show.
Yeah.
And you obviously grew up a huge House of Pain fan.
Oh, huge.
So that must be like
Everlast was, Everlast was probably my top 5 at that time.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite MCs.
And answer this. Finally, someone is going to answer correctly. Best House of Pain album.
Best or my favorite? I couldn't say best.
Your favorite.
Truth Crushed to Earth Shall Rise Again.
Damn, Truth Crushed to Earth Shall
And the reason I
Rise
say
Again. It's so good.
Danny Boy hates it. He calls it Everlasting Friends.
Oh, really?
Because Divine Styler and Cockney Dyer all over it. But to me, Everlast,
Kinda like Baldhead slipping the
Everlast is a better skill level rapping on that, and he's in such a dark place.
Yeah.
On that album, everything's falling apart. Like I like that about that album. The group is disbanding, everything's hitting, and he's just got that raw in his voice. He's just like, here come the.
Oh, he sounds completely
the.
different. Yeah, like
And you're just
Earthquake
like,
and
you're just like, yo, and the beats are so raw.
Oh, they're so good.
The first album has the biggest hits on it. Has their biggest songs. Boom, boom, shalock, lock, boom.
Yeah.
Jump around.
Put on your shit kickers.
Put on your
and kick
shit
some
kickers. Put your head out.
Yeah.
These are their biggest songs.
Even though Same As It Ever Was, I liked more than the first
Same
album.
as Everlast. Same as It Ever Was is probably the best production overall album where Everlast is elevated at a point where because some of the rhyming on the first album is a little basic.
Yeah.
He's elevated to like all great MC by
Yeah.
Same as It Ever Was.
Absolutely.
And it's still Muggs is still involved. So it's like, to me, that album is probably the best overall album.
Yeah, I'd say that's correct.
Right.
But the one I
personally,
like the most is
I personally like
is
Truth,
what you
Truth,
like.
Truth Rush,
And no one knows about this album. It hurts me.
because it was so off-brand.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were just doing hardcore East Coast beats at the time.
And the cover was so ugly.
Yeah.
And the name,
And
the
they were
title was
done.
so
And
stupid.
they were done. I was a senior in high school when it came out. My quote in my yearbook is, "I'm fed up. I'm about to go head hunting." That was my
Yeah,
thing.
that's awesome. That's
That was
amazing. And I think the best Boston album, other than White Man Is the Devil and House of Broken Mirrors, actually, those two.
Wow,
Was,
you do a lot of cocaine, didn't you? You did a lot.
No, but I'd say the other one is
You know we
Bald
did.
Head Slick and the Click, which was
Really?
mostly like a compilation Boston album. You didn't like it? I loved that album.
No.
Yeah,
I
but
did
you
not like that
you were
one.
like a hardcore Gangstar fan at that time.
No, I was so disappointed. And
No, I
shout out
liked
Guru
it.
because he tried to do something, but it was just
I thought it sounded very
no.
I thought it encapsulated Boston
No.
too.
No, it wasn't Boston Project. It was everybody was on. There were a lot. More
Everybody was on it, but it felt like Boston. Maybe because it was like what I was listening to when I first moved to Boston.
No, yeah, that's
And one of the first like shows I probably went to of yours.
no. I saw Guru at the Middle East.
How did you meet this guy?
I don't remember how. I must have been 88, 9. I'm thinking, and you showing up to shows saying
Like,
It
how-
might have been.
how did he-
You.
How did he start working like for you hosting shows?
Well, he didn't really never host that much because he would just be in a blackout, like he says, and, and piss the whole crowd off. That's his whole.
But
shtick.
was it Tame?
You did a
one?
Tame One show, yeah.
Was that where I got boot? You said never again.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me.
I knew it was bad when Trees came up to me and said, "Van Styles is the worst host I've ever seen."
Can we?
And that was Trees, who was a close friend.
I apparently hosted his mixtape
Album
release.
album release pod. Yeah,
yeah,
and he blacked out in a spacesuit. But
Yeah.
hold on, wait. Can you give us a good Van Styles story? Because you must have a million. Yeah,
Be tough, too tough. What is that?
yeah, yeah.
Too tough to be tough.
So
get
yeah,
it right.
so Van
And
Styles.
Hush, if you don't know, I had a group.
So Van Styles had
We did
a great-
SWV covers.
Hold on, let the guest talk the story. Hey, let him go.
So we're doing a Jake the Snake JDS release party at Harper's Ferry or something along the lines of that. He was on the show, and Van Styles was hosting, and he wanted to do like. Was he hosting, or you just want to do Be Too Tough to Be Tough? What was it? Was that this?
I was hosting,
Yeah, but
and
you
that's
wa-
when I think I came up with Too Tough to Be Tough.
So he decided.
And there was a bigger headliner than.
So this is a real underground New York, Boston lineup, like really hardcore
Yep.
hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
but
mean?
there was a headliner. It wasn't Jake the Snake
Yeah.
headlining.
But so he's hosting, and
If he dressed normal,
at the time he's dressed like he normally dresses, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna do this Too Tough to Be Tough thing." I was like, "All right, cool, whatever." I didn't care. He goes back in the back room. He grabs, who was your partner in crime?
Jailhouse Jason.
Jailhouse Jason. They come back in like fucking astronaut suits or whatever those suits were.
Oh
What
my
were-
God, the astronauts! I have pictures
Are
of
they, are
this.
they astronaut suits? What were
He
they?
denies it.
No, it was a silver sweatsuit or
Okay,
something.
so it's a
and then it was like a football helmet I'd taken from UGG.
Okay, because this is what he used to. So when he did my album party, he was wearing this, and he's like, I didn't have that, and he had the fucking glass helmet or something with it, the whole fucking nine.
I think it was just
We
a
have pictures of
football
this.
helmet.
Yeah. Okay, but go ahead.
So we're in between sets, and then granted, this is not like comedy at this point in hip
It's
hop.
not-
Don't go in
it's not a
together
thing,
well.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
not
a
a thing yet. Nerdcore hasn't took over yet. Nerdcore is not a thing.
It's like get your ass beat.
It's
like, at a show.
all of a sudden he comes out in this the shiny silk whatever it was. What
Yeah,
was it?
it was a sweatsuit.
Sweatsuit.
I think.
And they start doing two steps to like old R&B records, like mocking the whole fucking thing. And I'm like,
And we were not coordinated at all.
and unrehearsed, just
Unrehearsed.
like doing stupid dance moves, like the biggest.
And it's your buddy up
listen,
there.
it's like the biggest inside joke that nobody gets.
Yeah.
And people are getting mad at me at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Like, this Jake the Snake's about to go. He's like, this is fucking bullshit. He's fucking ruining. No one is appreciating the comedy at all. And I'm like, I don't know what.
Did you appreciate the comedy?
No, because everyone's mad. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And I get on stage. I'm like, end it now. And they're like, walk off the stage.
If people don't know you, Leedz
No, it was
a
that
small
song.
guy.
We
Either.
got the stuff that you want. We got the thing that you need.
Wasn't the right crowd.
wait,
the right-
wait. And then one of the last shows that I hosted was Mickey Avalon with Dean the Machine.
Yeah, and Mickey Avalon's manager kicked Dean the Machine out. That's how bad I got control.
My
of him.
co-host got booted out while he was co-hosting,
and that's
by the
Mickey-
manager
and
of the
that's
headliner.
Mickey Avalon's.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Mickey.
yeah. Then they've seen some shit. Fucking. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen an artist do on stage?
That's a good question.
Action Bronson body slam somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that went viral. Yeah, that went super viral.
No, that's not as good as my favorite.
What? Stitches trying to do coke on stage?
No, but that's good. Tell that one.
I don't know. That's a long one.
Well, hold
Okay.
on, but the Action Bronson thing. Well, like that didn't the kid jumped up on stage and was doing
Yeah,
that,
and he just
and he
slammed
fucking
him over.
picked him up and just fucking. What happened after that? The kid was fine.
Yeah, apparently it went viral, and nowadays you probably get sued for that.
Yeah, but the kid like didn't break his neck or anything.
Yeah, no.
He was fine. Like fuck, look, I got hurt.
You know how he did it. You know how he did
And
it.
the Stitches thing, he was throwing cocaine into the
He was
crowd.
like, "Who's got cocaine?" Trying to get on stage, and I intervened at that point. I was like, "This ain't happening."
I don't know if you remember another show I hosted was Isham. And,
Yeah, that was
and,
bad.
And
Yeah,
right before we came out,
I
we
forgot
both
about that.
stuffed our heads into a huge bag. I had a Coke, and it was like dripping down my face as I came out on a leash. With the Spanish girl had me on a leash
You
with a
literally do
whip,
this?
and I come out crawling with
at
cocaine
Leeds's
dripping
face.
down my face.
Is that- yeah, you were on the leash. I
Yeah, I was
remember
on the
that. Yeah.
leash.
That's hip hop right there.
It was Esham, so you get away with that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But
Right, I wanted
the
to make
Too
it
Tough, Be
gothic.
Tough. The Too Tough, Be Tough was the wrong crowd.
Yeah,
That was-
right. We had like refined our act by the time we had Isham, but the best one was Coolio.
Yeah, he rode the girl like a horse.
Yes, and like she wanted to get him off her, and he just would ride up higher on her shoulders.
Coolio
like,
was riding the
he was
girl
riding this huge
Made
girl.
TMZ.
Yeah, that went on.
What,
that went viral.
at Middle East.
Yeah, Middle East. Cool. That was a fun show.
There we go.
R.I.P. Coolio.
What's the craziest thing you ever seen happen in the audience in a show?
Just fights, probably. Just like brawls.
Well-
Jim Jones riot with just fights going off everywhere.
Well, I remember
Yeah.
Slaine and Ill Bill swinging on people in the front row.
I remember a Black Medine show. We had ballroom dancers dancing in the front of this set. That was
Really?
doing like the whole grabbing each other's arms like this dance.
What? I don't remember
Why?
that. Yeah, why? What does that have to do with Black
I don't
Medine?
know. It was so
Of
funny.
all things.
That's why how funny it was.
Well,
it was like
that
it was a gay ball. It was two gay guys doing ballroom dancing in front of Black Medine.
this is what I always. This is one of the things I loved about you is you have like this fucked up sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like you loved Bomb Shot.
Bombshell was controversial, but me and Bombshell were cool at the time.
No, but you loved him like listening to Bomb Shot. I
was
remember you would get like
hilarious, dude.
giddy. I remember listening like the Kill 'Em All album that you had hosted or whatever, and at the airport
Yeah,
and being
put that
like,
one together.
"This is awful. Like this is like lyrically, like this is not good. And you would get like giddy. Like did you hear it? Like you loved it. Like you really loved.
I
Bombshot.
loved the controversy at the time. I was big into controversy. I thought that was entertaining, and I thought the Bombshot was terribly entertaining. Like I was just like, what?
But his brand of entertaining was beating the shit out of people.
Yeah,
but like
you weren't.
But he
and
was,
you were a promoter. This should be the last person you want anywhere near your event.
That's a good
me and
point.
him were always cool.
That's a good point.
No, you and him were cool,
No one else, yeah.
but he would be robbing and fucking people up while shows are going on.
Punched
I was at a
punched JCO in the back of the head while he was pissing at one of the shows.
Yeah, that's right. JCO was. He worked at Underground Hip Hop
Yeah,
and he
I
was
know
on
JCO.
ERS. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, Bombshot. It's like, yo, JCO, play my song on the radio. And JCO was like, yeah, email me. Bombshot's like, oh, yeah?
I brought it up on WERS, and JCO had a fit that I sold him out on air by bringing up the story of Bombshot just sucker punching him in the back of the head.
Wait.
But also, we did a WERS.
JCO calls me. He's going to kill me on this one. He calls me up. He's like, yo, Bombshot just hit me in the head while I was pissing. Bro, my dick was in my hand. Bro.
That definitely is against every bro code is broken right there.
A lot of fights went down in that bathroom.
But I remember
It was
WERS.
outside. It was like in the alley outside.
WERS, we put on a Ghostface Killer show, and during that show, Bombshot robbed his neighbors. Oh, no, he robbed someone at the show, left, and then robbed his neighbors, who I think were like at the show or something because he knew where they were.
You know what though? Now that might be like that might work. Like now, like actually like a rapper that robbed his fans like at the show, like during when he was like performing, would actually probably work these days.
Well,
you know?
EPMD, Parrish robbed Eric Sermon, right? Well, that was the story.
So the story, they almost set him up to get killed, I think.
Set him, yeah, like even
Yeah,
crazier.
you jump on- yeah. Yeah.
Man,
about-
you just brought back some crazy memories right now, man.
Yeah, no, it honestly does even like make me feel like a little bit like uncomfortable, sick in the stomach.
Yeah,
because
really
it like
disgusting behavior. Actually.
right. Well, also, and I remember that feeling of like the drip in the back of my throat. And cigarettes, so many cigarettes that my lungs hurt.
Did you ever have to kick someone out of a show for drug use?
Oh my God!
He's
Yeah,
he said, yeah.
Yeah, and what happened?
But meanwhile, he's on drugs.
what happened to the drugs?
drugs.
What happened to the drugs? You're the quintessential.
Yeah,
Like, I bet
yeah.
they used those drugs after they kicked me out.
They might have ended up missing somehow. I don't know.
They fell off the back of a truck.
So what happened? So you have brought every one of my heroes to Boston. You're the
Almost.
reason that I got to meet like literally everyone on my bucket list.
Yeah.
But there's a few West Coast legends, including The Game, that you never got to Boston, but there was supposed to be a The Game show.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
That
the
didn't end well.
What happened?
We're going to talk about that. I'd rather not talk about that one either.
I know you'd rather not, but I wouldn't be doing
Let's
my
just say-
journalistic
Let's
all.
just say he was supposed to show up and he didn't show up, and there was some business stuff that didn't get taken care of. I don't know. I'll say on the record, I don't know where the business stuff got fucked up as far as the booking agent and his team. I don't know what happened between those two. All I know is it didn't get taken care of back on my
But
end.
somebody might have found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow and took off with it.
Let's just say I'm not going to go into
Man,
details.
that's some
here. But
gangster
let's just
ass
say
shit.
didn't work out.
Why have we never got a Spice One or MC8 show? Why do they never tour out to the East Coast? Why are there so many artists that don't?
Because it's not easy to get out here for the money. You know,
Yeah,
money-
they just don't.
the
Is
money
it
don't
like,
add up.
would you be able to like? There's a fan base that could fill up an MC8 show. There hasn't ever been one.
Yeah, I don't know. It just never really came through.
Oh, that's
Never
crazy.
happened.
It's very specific.
I know, I
A
know.
specific
those are
MCA
these, I
show.
know.
Like, I'm trying to think of my
Who's the
head
other
how
one?
many-
Who's the
Well,
other
I
one?
also wanted a sugar-free show, like sugar-free and DJ Quick.
What's the other Juggalo rapper we always talked about doing?
These are not Juggalo rappers.
No, the other one though, not the one. Who's
Well, you
the,
did Isham.
Who's the notorious one that we always said we wanted to book?
Of a Juggalo rapper?
Yeah, that horrorcore.
Oh,
murder.
Brother Lynch hung.
Yeah, that-
yeah. He's not a Juggalo.
hell he ain't.
No, he's not. I had to go. Season of the Sickness is a fucking classic
Bro,
90s album.
you
I had to
do
go
a
all the way to Detroit
Bro.
to Harpo's to fucking ever do my interview.
You
with
do a
him.
Brother Lynch Hung show.
I did.
Juggalo's in the fucking crowd.
Yeah.
So
Sa-
stop.
Sadly,
that. Stop that.
Isham
There's
was never a Juggalo too.
But that's the crowd.
Right. Unfortunately.
I don't
You
should
never
tell
did an
you-
Insane Clown Posse
Is
show,
there
did
one?
you?
Is there one that got away that you wish you had,
Why didn't you ever do an ICP show?
or like
It was always too big, and they always had a built-in history with the Palladium.
Okay.
or like a bucket list show maybe?
Bucket list, the one that got away was Guru. That was the big one.
But
that
you
got away.
did a
I
bald
did-
head slick.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I
you didn't
went
do
to
that.
it as a
Oh,
fan.
okay.
Guru
How
got
come you
away.
only did hip hop and you never branched out?
I did other shows. Yeah. I did EDM for a while.
I guess
That
I
was
just
booming.
pretended that wasn't
Did a
happening.
little
somewhere.
rock sometimes. When I became a talent buyer at the Middle East, I booked other shows, but it was for the Middle East.
Oh, okay.
I booked everything.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I did all that.
Bucket list one.
It hasn't happened.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
you'd like
at this
to happen.
point, I don't know. I don't think I have.
I
One.
mean, 'cause
It's
you don't-
realistic. Oh, obviously, like I could tell you Nas, Eminem, Jay-Z, but like
Am I allowed to ask the biggest prick?
biggest prick.
Not like physically. He wants
Yeah,
to know.
no.
He wants to know what's the
I'm not
biggest
gonna air-
dick.
no.
That's like because he
I'm not
wants.
gonna- I'm not
He
gonna
wants to
call
be in the
it-
DMs. You know what I mean?
No.
He's like he wants to slide
Not
in the
the
DMs.
biggest prick. How about like your favorite person of all these like heroes that you brought through,
Ooh,
where you were like, this dude's just super cool. Like I didn't expect like this dude to just be so down to earth.
that's a good one.
That's the only kind that I have, Leeds. You know.
Say something real quick here. I want to look at my list because Bronson was always mad cool to me. In the
Wait,
beginning.
wait. Action Bronson is your. He's
We ate,
have I-
we ate this one is coming up though. So like
Okay, when he
When
was
he-
still humble.
we went out for Chinese food, man. He was real cool. His manager there, Dante Ross, hung out with them eating Chinese food and
Dante Ross was his manager.
at one point. Yeah,
Wow, that's
we were
legendary.
chilling in Chinatown eating Chinese food, and like he's talking to me about all the food and what'd you get that with the pork, and at the time like he wasn't doing a cooking show. He was just really good at.
Fuck
They
that.
ordered so much food that we got like full halfway through it. They kept bringing it out, and Dante like flipped out on the waitress. He's like, "We didn't order that." We clearly did, but he was like, basically didn't want to pay for it because he knew we were going to eat it.
Yeah, because the stories I've heard of Action Bronson, him working at Vice, was like they hated him in the office. And then he was at the Paradise, and we did an interview with Mayhem Loren. And in the end of that interview, Action Bronson walks by, and I go, "Can we do an interview with you?" He's like, "Yeah, I got to go ice my knee. I'll be back in like 30 seconds." Never comes back. So I walk backstage, and I'm standing there, and there's like Alchemist sitting on the couch. Action Bronson has like a blowtorch, some weed device. And I'm like, "Hey, what happened to coming out for the interview?" And he what's it called? He gaslit me. He looked in front of everyone. What interview? Oh, I never said I was going to do an interview. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm like, in front of like Alchemist, my hero?
How can you embarrass someone like yourself? That's
He
just
embarrassed
a
me.
A crazy thing.
Me and Alchemist got in a pretty big argument once.
Because he used to drink a lot.
He was a challenging.
Well, the
person.
internet loves drama. If you want to talk about that.
Nah, I don't want to talk about it.
Him and Evidence, I remember at like Rock the Bells being fucking hammered.
It was a misunderstanding. I'll say this on his part because his agent kind of dropped the ball at the time, and something was being promoted with his name on it that he wasn't supposed to be on it. But I was waiting for the agent to confirm that he was not going to be on it, and Alchemist was getting edgy about it. He's like, "Dude, take my name off." I was like, "I gotta wait for the booking agent," and he just went in on me and said some nasty shit.
Worse than what Necro has said in emails to Quest, the ex-owner of UndergroundHipHop.com.
Yeah.
Like,
So we've been going for like what, an hour and a half now, Hush?
Hour 22.
Hour and 22. You got any? So we do some current events too.
well, before we do that, did you ever book a company flow show?
LP solo.
LP solo show.
Yep.
What did you? Wasn't there one where it was LP and Cage, or no? Am I just imagining?
I did the Cage Hell's Winter tour. I think that's the one Hush was at.
Oh shit! Nice.
That was a great show.
Wait, has Hush performed at? Yeah, he's
I
at a ton of
performed
them.
at that Cage show.
Oh, you were an opener
I actually
at the
met
Cage
Van
show.
Styles. at
you
a
performed on
cannabis
the
show.
Hell's Winter show or a different Cage show? I think it was a
My
different-
friend brought me on actually.
Oh,
so
well,
like it was through someone else.
Was it a lead show that you won the battle for?
I've
He
won
was
some
so
Leeds battles,
so
yeah.
we had
Yeah.
Pat G in,
Yeah, Pat
and
G's
he was
good.
the fucking judge for the Pat G
Yeah.
Hush battle.
Yeah.
Had no idea either one of them were battle rappers. No idea either
I didn't
one.
remember.
Shocker.
Yeah,
Nothing.
right.
Completely
That's
out of it.
crazy. Well,
Shout out.
wait, but where did you say I met you at a lead show?
Backstage at the cannabis show. I have a picture. It's me, you, Slaine, cannabis, and you have like the underground hip hop mic. But
Oh,
shout out to Leedz because he was getting me in these shows before I was of age, allegedly.
Oh man.
Hush.
Hush,
Let's talk
Hush.
about Hush real quick, because
Yeah.
Hush is the child prodigy. When
Yeah.
I used to go around other Quincy guys, they would always be like, they were older. Hush was the youngin', 16 years old. Back in, this is 2010-ish, 9, 8,
Hanging
7.
out with grown folks.
He's 16 years old, recording in his room by himself every day, making songs at 16. Okay, it might even been younger.
Yeah.
And this is the kid. He was doing that, and he was hustling like that back then.
Wow.
And he hasn't stopped since. So shout out this motherfucker right here.
And he's finally
he is
made it
still
with the
hustling.
Big Dookie Chain.
Right,
He's
right.
doing video. He's doing what else are you doing?
Oh, he does everything.
I'm
Are
in
you
a,
fucking
I'm
kidding
in a
me?
movie coming
Yeah.
out with not like as big as Slaine
This
role,
guy-
but Casey Affleck movie.
Yeah, this guy is just
Another
this
Affleck.
guy right here is a freaking machine.
Oh, he is a machine.
He's a machine.
Oh, that's without a
just
doubt.
lay off the
Just
auto
cyborg.
tune. Lay off the auto tune in the track.
Hey.
You're better than that.
He's
I
been-
know you're better than
I
that.
dabble. I do
I
a
know
little bit of
you are
everything.
better than auto tune.
Hey,
He
man. Hey,
is
that's
not
your
above
old
making
headness is
money.
showing.
Yeah,
right?
your old headness.
Hey man, I know you got rap skills. I'm saying you throw that auto tune on it.
Hey man, I was rapping on Big Dookie Chain last week.
He was. It was, and that shit was fire.
Yeah, no, he's good. That's what I'm saying. Like Hush is on the low. One of the hardest working dudes in
know,
New
I-
England hip hop.
I've known this dude for like a long time,
Yeah.
and it's fun to me. There's a reason why he's sitting over there, and plus he lives right in this. He lives like right there.
Yeah, because he's your neighbor.
So it's just he didn't always live right there.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
lives there now. It's just funny as each guest comes in that knows him. He now because he didn't know him, so he wasn't really giving him
I
much
didn't remember.
credentials or anything like that. And he's like,
I get hip to new things
he's
every
just some, He's just some
episode.
hippity hop rap fan guy, and
Hippity
every guy that comes in is like, oh no, Hush is the truth. He's did this and this and this and that. Now
Right,
the-
I thought he's just some new jack kid who's like,
Nah, dude. Hush has been
fair weather rap
Hush has been
fan.
grinding for fucking 20 years almost.
well, then why the fuck haven't I heard him on
Because
the radio
he's-
yet?
because you've been
should've.
fucking blacked out.
I've been on WERS.
Because
a
he's
little
so friggin' underground.
bit. You know what I'm
And
saying?
he's in his own little world. Nowadays, you can exist in these little worlds that me and you don't even know.
But he produces, he
Yes.
directs,
Yes, he's been doing that forever.
he
He's
he
been
edits,
doing that.
Part
He
of
has
the
he
been-
raps.
He's been rapping since.
He's his own like.
See, part of what we're going to do
He's
with
his
the
own
Big Dookie
team.
Chain is elevate that and show that more, show with more of a skill
Hush
set
is
to the
the-
world.
Hush
yeah.
is-
Yeah,
Hush-
every episode there's something he's brought up, and I'm
Hush-
like, wait, Hush was there for this? Wait, I judged a battle with Hush and that, and
I put Hush's grind up against almost anybody in New England.
put it up against Tash right here.
Maybe.
I put it
Maybe.
up against anyone.
Damn, you
maybe.
two.
Yeah, no,
you two
it's-
go head to
well,
head.
Tash
You
knows,
know,
bro.
I'd go up against you,
We were-
and it'd be close.
We were talking that like when I start like emailing people, like I'll messaging people at 3-4 in the morning because I'm up and I'm going. He's like not sleeping yet, so we're like, all right, we're already catching
that's what I'm
cycles.
saying.
And at that
so that's exactly what
Well,
I'm saying.
well,
And
me
by
and him-
that point, I'm on my 9th hour of sleep.
Well, that's why you know why me and him now are working like this together. Obviously,
No,
it's gonna
no,
it makes sense.
Yo, bro.
It makes sense. He knows.
I get it.
But like all this said and done, like a lot of history. If these walls could talk, the stories they'd tell.
Well, they're
can.
telling them
They
right
can.
now.
They actually
can,
do
yeah.
tell
Yeah.
stories. Every one of these pictures does. But the real question I have for you, Leedz, is Lotto or Ice Spice?
Lotto.
Megan Thee Stallion or Nicki Minaj?
Pass.
Drink.
No. Water.
So what do you like? What's an
Really
album
wrong
that you
person
listen to?
ask about those.
No, I know, but what
Let's go in my era and start.
Yeah,
asking.
yeah. You and Quest, you and everybody else I know.
Would you of the new artists? Is
Yeah,
there
Lil
someone-
Baby,
is
do you
there
like
someone
Lil
that you would-
Baby?
No, hold on. Is there someone that you would like to see? Like, if you were doing shows now, like that, still is there someone like in your eyes that you'd be like, that's someone I would like to do a show with?
I mean, yeah, I'd like to do a show with anybody that packed the house.
You did Kendrick
Not
Lamar,
what-
and
not
my
what I
dumbass
mean.
didn't show
Yeah.
up.
It's funny. Someone asked me the other day, "Who's someone new that you like?" And I'm like, "Dude, new? The women are running the game right now."
Yeah.
And you know when that's happening, everything's gone wrong.
Well, oh God, don't say that. Jesus.
Edit that.
I am not responsible for what Van Styles says. Views that Van Styles has. I thought.
I have a mother.
Yeah. Call her.
We haven't spoken.
The women right now are running the charts.
Yeah.
So, and it's great. You know
Lot
what
of
I mean? Like
estrogen.
a lot of sex sells, and that seems to be the big push. Not that they don't.
They're running it the
but
best
Lotto,
way they know how.
Lotto did. The reason I said Lotto is Lotto did a version of "Don't Sweat the Technique" with of Rakim's joint,
Oh, really?
and she did a really dope job doing it. I was like, oh, this is really dope. You know, this is like hip hop I like. So Hush shake his head, thinks he knows it.
Well, did you know in '98 I was at Our Lady Peace and the Third Eye Blind show, and Third Eye Blind did Today Was a Good Day cover.
Yeah,
So
did they drop the N bomb? They were like, yo,
Back
can I
then?
say it? Can I say it? Can I say it?
Back then?
is there a time, and I wanted to say
No,
like
I've never said the N bomb.
no,
Great.
wrong guy asking the
I'm
question.
not going to splice together a Joe Rogan-esque type.
I was thinking
Leedz.
that like is there a time not only when like you said like Lotto hit it like that, or like a woman has like completely rocked the stage that
I'll tell you right
set
now,
up?
we have Jasmine Red in this city right here.
That's I was going to ask you that.
She's
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, that woman could sing and rap. her
Oh,
ass
you're
off.
talking about. I was thinking Jasmine Solano.
No,
from WRS.
Jasmine Red is incredible artist.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, well, okay.
Is she
Okay,
the one
I'm
that went
not
to
plugged in.
she went to Berkeley?
She teaches. She does some. I don't know all. I should know some of this, but I think she's one of the most talented female rappers. One of the most talented. I'll just say rappers in the city
Okay.
or artists in the city.
Better than Hush? Better or worse than Hush?
Different. Well,
What's your over
if
under?
Hush would stop making songs with auto-tune, I'd give him a little more freaking respect.
He's trying to connect with the audience.
All of a sudden, him and Maroney got fucking auto-tune going on. Everything.
Is there someone?
When are we going to get a problematic auto-tune track?
I hope never.
Is there someone?
I mess with
XL the Beast.
I will mess with a little bit of it, like a little Melodyne, all that, to make it sound better. I get that, but that when you guys friggin' crank that thing,
Melodyne, you said? Is that like melatonin?
Melodyne.
That's the manual pitch. Instead of auto tuning, it's manual tuning,
which is better.
Yeah, these people who talk about auto tune, they're all auto tuned. Just for the record.
Yeah, I mean, using it a little bit's fine, but when these guys put that whole, the T-Pain thing, which Hush does,
T-Pain too much?
it's bad. It's like nails on chalkboard to me.
Is there a time when you booked someone that you thought they were going to be like a good artist, but then they came and they rocked it like way above your expectation?
Yeah, many times. Many times.
Someone stick out?
Who was better than I thought? I
Put an amazing show on.
I mean, most of them always did. You know what I mean? Like most of them always put on a good show. Like to get to that level, you have to.
Yeah.
This is something that a lot of artists don't understand. Is like you're gonna make the most money as an artist by doing shows. That's the number one way people get paid as an artist. You know what I mean?
Especially nowadays.
Streaming's cool, but really, like, you're going to make money getting shows. So you got to make sure your live set's good. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they just don't. They think it's just about rapping your song, and there's so much more to it. It's call and response, the stuff you say in between, the way certain songs hit and transition, getting the crowd involved. Like, all these things are so important. And people don't invest in that enough.
Especially in hip-hop.
But the pros that came through and blessed all those stages did.
I mean, for what it's worth, you are one of the biggest promoters in hip-hop. Was one of the biggest promoters in hip-hop in Boston. How does that make you feel when people say that? Do you know your place in the game?
I knew my era.
Do you know your place in the history of the game?
I did. I did a lot of great shows.
When the book of Boston's written, do you know your place in it? Do you understand who your place in it?
Yeah, I feel like
because you are someone that absolutely.
You had Eminem.
No, I didn't.
Well, like you got.
That wasn't you.
No, it was
you got to understand. I mean, a lot of people that I don't know, people watching
people
this.
tell me that, like, dude, you booked Eminem. I'm like, I did not book Eminem.
You booked Kendrick Lamar though.
I did book Eminem.
I was there for that. But like when you were a rapper in Boston and you wanted to come up at the time, there was only a few outlets. You had to find Ferrone to be in the paper.
Right.
You had to find Jew to be on stage,
Right.
and you had to find him to be on the radio.
Right.
That was it. You know what I'm saying? So you do have a place.
When we were the goddamn gatekeepers,
you were
that's how it should have been.
You were the gatekeepers in a fucked up way.
Now it's just anarchy.
But when you hear people say that, like, and I say it about him as well, is that it should make you feel like a sense of pride. I mean, you should.
I took a lot of pride in what I did, and I had a great run. You know what I mean? Like I did it for 16, 17 years.
Why'd you stop?
COVID, and then the Middle East just kind of changed.
the Middle East nightclub.
Middle East
anyone
nightclub.
Yeah,
The
Jesus
Middle East definitely changing. It's changing as we speak.
Yeah,
now.
right.
Yeah, it's probably a hip hop show going down in Dubai as we speak. But yeah. So I was just like,
You would have had your head chopped off in Dubai.
yeah,
Back in the day.
you would have too, among other
You'd
body
have it,
parts.
now.
You would definitely have that. All your
Him too.
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah.
Let's just say all of us. But yeah, like the Middle East, I was struggling with ownership at the time because there was a lot of personal stuff, internal stuff going on. And then COVID was done, and that was it. And I said, you know what? It's probably a good time to take a break. And I just didn't go back.
If you had to give advice,
I did a show. I mean, I still do shows. Like I did a show 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, I was gonna say, yeah,
But it's
not
not
the
like
same
what it
thing.
was. It's not like I was doing 2 or 3 shows a week.
But why aren't you doing more shows right now?
The money is just too risky, and It's just, you know, I don't really want to open that up right now. You know what I mean? Like, if I was to do anything right now, it's going to be what I did the other night. Just like some good local stuff. A good lineup. Let's have fun for the night.
Yeah.
As far as like paying for national headliners to come in and do all that.
That's what I need of you.
It's hard, and there's a lot, there's a lot of corporate competition with Live Nation and AEG. Those guys, they run shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's awful.
And they got money, and you're not going to beat those relationships and money. I was able to sustain against them for a long time because I was in Boston before AEG. You know what I mean? So, like, I had more connections there in hip-hop, and they kind of stayed away from that a little bit. So I was able to curate that way, but it's just a different ball game now. And promoting shows is very stressful. I don't know if I want all that in my life again.
Right.
If you had to give advice to like some new group coming up right now, like
Group or promoter?
Group, like a new group.
I'll give advice to you, the new promoter.
Right.
You can do that.
Let's not talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Mr. Tash
You're
is
booking shows now.
doing a festival.
I'm doing no such thing.
Turning shows into festivals.
We're just
You're a
doing
talent buyer.
We're doing everything.
You are a talent buyer.
I am, and I
Okay.
just heard what you were saying, and we're gonna have a talk with you off camera, which with the conversation you just had with him. But I'm booking some stuff out, but this isn't about me. It's about you.
All right, cool, fair.
You know what I mean? So my question to you is like being someone who was a gatekeeper for a long, not a gatekeeper in that way.
I don't
but
like
you were.
that term.
Me either.
I don't like that term.
Me either. But
because I wasn't.
You
I was a
weren't.
facilitator.
Yeah, you were.
I was a path of exposure, and I will say this. You're right. I did.
By default, you were a gatekeeper.
I was, and I underplayed my role probably a little bit. I didn't realize at the time how important that was to the local scene. I looked at more as the business side of it,
Yeah.
paying the bills. I should have been a little more
You didn't realize how legacy you were.
Well, I didn't realize how much the local scene was really kind of depending on it. My whole theory
Even when
was,
you were in it and you were the one,
Maybe you didn't realize
because
that
you were the one throwing the show that
To me, it
allowed
was-
for us to be in the paper,
Right.
like that. It was the whole vehicle,
I knew
the whole
that
thing.
it was a vehicle, but I didn't think that it was the end all be all.
Also, you're not from Massachusetts. So
I
you
am
didn't,
from Massachusetts.
No, but I'm sorry, but you're not from Boston. You're from New Hampshire. So it's like,
I'm from Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Let's make the record clear.
Yeah,
I've lived in Boston for the metro area for 20 years.
20 years.
It's like that scene.
Right.
It's like that scene.
But back then you hadn't been there that long.
It's like that scene in Gone Baby Gone where Ed Harris tells, like, you think you're more from Boston than me, but I've actually lived in Boston longer than you've been alive. You know what I mean?
Fair,
So
fair.
People
Because I
tell
need
me
to say that.
People tell me that. They're like, yo, you ain't from Boston. I'm like, yo, I've been here for 20 years. You know what I mean?
I can say the same.
Right? So it's like,
So what would you give advice to someone coming in the game, being a new
be
group?
respectful. Relationships. Business can get sour sometimes. Business, I've gotten in probably situations with you, all three of you guys, business-wise, right? But we're still here today.
You took away hip-hop trivia.
But we've been able to work through all that. We've been able to work through all that and still do business. We respect each other here in this room and can maintain relationships.
Yeah.
The relationship is more important than the temporary business that is being done at the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right? If the person's worth
That's a
keeping
good.
the
That's a good.
relationship.
Yeah,
piece,
that is good.
We can have a bad deal. I lose $200. You lose $500. Whatever. Fuck. Right? Shit. That's just one business deal. But we can build something long over time. As we get past that, we learn from that.
Like you losing on your first 3 shows
Right.
and building something.
Right. Like you losing paying me in the beginning.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
But you built a career with AWOL off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You probably hated me for it at the time.
I only paid you once. The first time was the only time I ever paid you.
You sold tickets.
Yeah, I didn't have to after a while because we did well. Yeah, we did well.
But
yeah.
I'm saying, but you just once.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
don't be short-sighted. Is
No,
what you're
but that's
saying,
also part of the game too. Is like coming in, not thinking you're the shit, and knowing you got to put that work in. You know what I'm saying? You got
Well,
to.
you're a hard worker.
Yeah.
Compulsive motherfucker.
right? Right. He was just a pest. That's how he got on
Oh, my
88.9.
God,
He just
dude.
wouldn't stop. He was
Oh,
relentless.
Oh my God.
Hey, man.
Stress lived up to his.
Yeah, he was.
name.
He was a fucking stressful
Oh,
person.
But we want to bring
For
it up.
real.
But I was right. I was right. You know what I'm saying? There's only a couple people that are still in the
So
game.
I understand your work. You and terminology is similar to that. You just knock on the door 500 times.
Oh my
until you
God,
get through.
terminal.
So it's like, and I get that.
But when the goods are stand up on that, like if the music was whack, I couldn't do that. The music being good and the show being good and the crowd being there and it being right about it
Right.
allows me to put myself out there and do that
Yeah.
because now when you challenge me, I'm like, no, look what I'm sitting on right now. Look at the team I had with
but
me.
another
You
one.
just needed to chill, take it down a few.
Yeah,
Of course.
a few
That's
all you
notches.
did.
Yeah.
If you were,
Holy
if you,
shit.
If you weren't drinking so much back
Yeah.
then, you would have probably balanced that better.
Yeah,
it
that
was so fucking manic back then. It was
Well, I was
fucking
asking him the other day.
Dude,
I'm like,
we were all on coke and fucking drinking.
Right.
Dude. The fuck?
I was saying to Tash, I'm
Yo,
like, Tash, with the.
he'd call me at like 10 p.m. to talk business, wasted, screaming at me, telling me everything I need to do for him to be successful. And I'm like, yo, bro, you need to fucking get yourself under control. Right?
I believe
He's
it.
like, you know what? You know why? We're going to be fucking great. You know why? Because we have Knox. We have Knox.
He still talks like that.
I
And about
discovered
Knox.
Knox beats.
Yep, did. And
Knox is great.
And
You're right.
look
You
what
were
him and
right.
Justin are doing right now
He-
about that and everything. You know, it's like
He would call the radio station with different voices. He'd be different callers.
He's relentless.
the only reason he knows that is because I told him.
That is true.
So fucking.
You're
But yeah,
relentless. You're
no, but it
relentless.
was, and the reason the thing in that is like have the actual good product. I'm relentless with this too. You know what I'm saying? We're hitting almost 500,000 hits in that first fucking month, and that's because of my relentless shit. But I also understand
And
what
don't-
I have and having the guests and
Well, I
having the
think-
story.
And don't do drugs.
But the thing
and
is,
don't
like,
drink.
That's a big
there's
one.
the balance. The balance, is the balance between that. There's the balance between working really hard, maintaining the relationships, because sometimes you can
Yeah.
annoy someone so bad they won't talk to you.
Yeah.
like
Or
I
you-
did.
yeah.
Azalea Banks manager.
Yeah. Right. So
It needed an. I didn't know that was suddenly
Maintain-
a dressing room.
maintain the relationships is all I can say. You got a good one, hold on to it, even if you lose a temporary loss.
In love too.
you
In
will
love too.
you will
Matters
win.
to the
You
heart.
will win in the end if you maintain a good relationship business wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if you lose on the front end, you fuck up, apologize, be respectful, make it right. Somehow make it right. Get your name out there, because that's your reputation is going to dictate your career.
Well, and so many people are young in the game too.
It-
That
it's
and money
small-
means so much to
it's a
them. They'll go
small-
crazy over a
It's
small
a small
amount.
world.
or a
Someone's
little
going to
thing.
call someone and ask what's up with this guy.
Oh, for
and
sure.
that person, if you got a bad record, that guy's going to say, "That guy's an asshole. Don't fuck with him. You just lost business right there."
Yeah. That's money out of your pocket.
And there's not enough business to go around to lose any in the beginning.
And now the four of us are sober, so we can't have any bad
Hush
relationships.
is sober now?
Yeah, he doesn't smoke weed anymore.
Weed.
And smoke weed.
That's
I
not
dabble.
sober.
I still
Hush, I
dabble.
For the record, smoking weed is not sober. I'm sorry. If
No,
anybody
I'm saying
thinks-
he stopped smoking
I don't
weed.
say I'm sober.
Oh,
I
okay.
say I don't drink. I don't drink and smoke cigarettes. I don't say that I'm
Okay.
sober. That's a him
Everyone
thing.
I just
quit
wanna
a
make it clear.
substance.
Yeah, I don't.
Everyone
I never,
quit a
me
substance.
and
I'm
you
not
don't-
sober, but I definitely don't have no drug problems.
It-
He's not smoking
Hush,
weed anymore.
Before
though.
we get into current events, do you have any Leedz stories? Because being a young kid and Leedz being like 6'10" fucking 10 and being
Yeah,
like
he's
and
gonna-
fat back then.
and he was
wide
fat,
as he was tall.
He was fat and angry back then. Leedz used to have that look on his face
Oh,
all the time. Yeah, like
bloated
that,
and pasty with red eyes.
I mean, I feel like
Oh,
me
God.
and Leedz had a good relationship. Some of the people I rolled with might have had some like, bump heads with him.
Some.
your entire
Well,
But
well,
Leedz always
Ked.
Leedz always
honest.
put me on shows. He let me do the battles. Like I appreciate what
I put money in his
Leedz-
pocket.
Young prodigy.
Maroney, which was his right-hand man at the time, had that whole battle league where they would start everyone like, "Hey, welcome to the battle. Fuck Leedz." That was like the whole fucking thing for a while.
Oh yeah,
great.
I remember
I know
that.
everyone else hated Leedz.
I remember,
fucked
that.
with
I
Leedz.
remember the gym picture. That's what I remember. Like someone posted.
Oh yeah,
the,
she got me.
the gym.
Wait, what was
picture.
I don't want to go too much into that
Yeah,
story.
we don't have to go
That
into
was
it.
like really out of
We,
control.
we don't
I'm
have to.
not
We don't have
happy
to go
about
into. Fuck all that. Fuck all
that. But
that.
yeah, you got me there.
There's a
Fucking-
gym picture.
Don't even worry about it.
I need
No,
to know.
We need to talk
Should we
about that.
stop and then-
Off
Yeah,
the record on that one.
All right, we're back with the Big Dookie Chain, going to discuss some current events. So, most recently, we see that Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg announced new gin and juice drink with the Pulp Fiction style trailer.
And they're working on Doggy Style too.
I thought he was gonna say there was gonna be pulp in the drink. Like,
Yeah, I didn't know where that
like,
was going.
Like gin and juice with like pulp in it. Like, oh, that's fucking disgusting.
I love pulp.
I like pulp too, but not
I
like.
would that actually sounds like a good idea. Gin and juice with pulp.
But you can't have like
such an
alcohol
alcoholic.
like with pulp in it because then
Why
it's
not?
like when you're drinking it you can feel the floaties and shit.
You would know
Could have-
better than
hey,
me.
we had
Yeah.
gold flakes in the gold slug.
That
I
gold
mean, it
slug
might
is
work.
fucking
Oh,
disgusting.
remember that? They'd be like, "Oh, it's the gold." Like,
Yeah,
rip your
yeah, yeah.
intestines.
Yeah, rip your
And then
intestines.
you get 10%. They get these percentages.
It was
10% drunker if you drink gold slug.
It was that like aftershock if like you broke the bottle of aftershock open like you ate the crystals inside the bottle of aftershock.
If you smoke weed, then you smoke a cigarette after, you get 15% more higher.
Is that-
What was,
oh, Jesus.
what was the thing with floaties? I remember in the 90s they had like those
Orbits.
drinks. With, yeah,
Orbits.
Orbits.
fucking things were gross.
So you guys excited about Doggy Style too? Now that reunited with Dr. Dre, I mean, I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
know
lie,
about-
I'm pretty
I don't-
excited.
What do you
I
think?
don't know about sequels to albums.
It's kind of like sequels to
I don't know
movies
about
are
that,
not a
but
good
Dre
idea.
and Snoop reunited.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
down
I
with
think
that.
I think this could technically be a sequel because if Dre's going to produce the whole thing, which
Yeah.
I'd be shocked
Oh,
if he did.
definitely not.
Then I think you can call it a sequel, but I don't think you can call like AZ does Do or Die 2 as a sequel. It's
Right.
nothing tied to the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
first
Raekwon's only built for Cuban Links too. If it would had been all
They
produced,
just-
it
I
had one
I
or
was
two
disappointed by
RZA tracks.
that it was there was no tie-in for that Cuban Links 2 shit.
Yeah,
there was
you
no
should
tie-in.
not be allowed to do a sequel unless it's the original producers.
Right.
Like it should be a. It's
Okay,
so whack.
what about,
It's
like-
so whack?
Let's
So,
suppose let's pretend like it's gonna be a sequel or not. Like, but you think the music's gonna hold up because Snoop's made that same album forever.
Let
It's
me
been-
ask this, because Doggy Style is obviously Snoop's best writing. Did DOC write Doggy Style?
Oh, I don't know.
That might
I
be-
feel like someone.
If so, I don't think it's publicly acknowledged. If so, but I wouldn't.
I mean, I can't believe
You
did
know
it
what?
without it
That way you saying that right now, that immediately is like one of those when you hear like Rakim wrote "Summertime" for Fresh Prince. Immediately, like, oh yeah, that fucking makes all the sense in the world.
But if you listen to the way Snoop raps on Doggy
you're right.
Style, you're like,
DOC.
it's a
The
way
DOC.
higher level than
Yeah,
anything
you're right.
else.
You're right.
Do you
he's
think that's
ever
from Dre
touched.
though? Because Dre, they say that Dre in the studio make you do the same line 100 times.
No,
Like,
but it's the
It's not gonna
lyric.
change
It's
the lyrics.
Yeah.
it's the depth. I mean, Murder Was a Case. Has he
Yeah.
ever done anything
Right,
like
No.
that?
and we were talking about this.
Snoop upside your head,
Dude,
Well,
Murder
right.
Was a Case,
upside
dude.
your head.
So
Murder
good,
Was a
so
Case
good.
is like friggin'
Phenomenal.
the best. That was probably hit. Would you say the Dogfather is the worst fall off in history, or is there anyone who's had sophomore
what's-
jinx that was been worse? Come on,
Mace Double Up.
Oh,
I never even listened to Mace Double Up.
Oh, someone. I
Yeah, I don't even think I know about
Yeah,
that, bro.
exactly.
The best sophomore album, Dr. Dre's 2001, and
The biggest flop might be
think.
Arrested.
Temples of Boom. Temples of
I
Boom.
like the album, but this is probably one of the biggest flops ever. Is Arrested Development's second album.
Oh, who even heard that?
But the first one. This is the slept
was the
on.
first one even good? I only know Mr. Wendell.
Bro, Tennessee, Mr. Wendell, People's Every Day, massive, huge hits.
Yeah,
back
those were all good songs. At the time, I hated them though.
Yeah.
What are
we
we doing
moving
over
on
there?
here?
nothing.
I got a nut. Speaking of
You got a nut?
Dre producing,
You got to get off a nut.
No, I got another kind of a. Speaking of Dre producing, Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign just dropped a new album, Vultures, and there's a lot of controversy. So I guess
I like the
Ozzy-
Havoc version.
It was good. Ozzy Osbourne is mad that he sampled a portion of a live concert from War Pigs. And then I also seen that I guess Donna Summer's estate, he also sampled something with. So like Kanye's just out here jacking samples.
Well,
no
that
clearance.
just makes me think of this is Ozzy Osbourne. Who did you watch the Motley Crue movie?
Of course.
Yeah, who snorts up?
Yeah.
Was it
Ants.
Tommy Lee's
Yep.
piss?
Ants.
No,
Ants.
yeah, they would. That generation, that's their whole thing. The metal would try to outgross each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was a competition. Like the stories were like someone walked in covered in feces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like that's what they did back then.
As a movie guy, what did you think of MGK in that role?
he did good.
Yeah, he's
I
awesome.
thought he did good. I thought everybody did a good job in that movie.
I,
It's like the third time
yeah,
he's brought
good.
that up.
How do you feel about Kanye West?
because
release?
Kanye-
old Kanye and then new Kanye.
I think. I mean, musically, I think there's no way you can deny his talent. I think the music is, incredible.
yeah.
I think he's an incredible music producer. I think he's just naturally gifted. I don't like the antics.
yeah.
I don't like the antics.
Yeah,
I thought you liked the controversy. You were a
I
controversial
used to
man
be.
back in the
I was,
day.
yeah, I was, but not anymore.
Ah,
There was a time.
You're too old for this shit.
You're gonna
You're
check it
Danny
out.
Glover on the toilet with the bomb strapped to the bottom and
Too
the
old.
weapon.
I think he's probably my age when he does.
No,
that
he
movie.
was. Yeah, you're right. You're
Was he like
probably older
44?
than yeah,
Did you
43.
see that?
I
That
think.
Edith
Yeah.
was 44 and Archie was 48 and All in the Family.
Yeah.
It's like holy
I
shit.
hate those things. Should be watched on the
What
internet.
the
They shouldn't be allowed to put those
to
up.
bring it back, we were talking about Slaine earlier. Another, the Super Bowl's tomorrow, and I guess Post Malone is gonna be like doing singing before the show. But to bring that full circle, Slaine was doing music with Louis
Yeah,
Bell,
yeah.
Quincy's own.
Yeah.
I guess he has the first double diamond single in history. Post Malone and Sway Lee, produced by Louis Bell.
Yeah, Lou
Crazy.
Bell, who was at Lou Balls at the time, was an amazing talent. I mean, I knew he was good. I didn't realize the extent.
Yeah.
Because he did a couple songs for me, and I was like, oh, he's good, but like we were doing like really hardcore hip hop stuff, so it was like that was what it is. I didn't realize his ability beyond that.
Did you have a hand in connecting Slaine with him at all?
No, Slaine
No?
already knew him.
Yeah, no.
I think it's funny that I saw that happen, and like I'm so like old man out of picture shit, like hip hop head, that I saw Post Malone. And I have no idea. I've never heard the word Sway Lee before. I've never did no idea.
No, you haven't?
No idea what that was. Yeah, crazy.
Post Malone.
Have you heard, have you heard of Ray Shremmerd?
Post Malone.
Ray Shremmerd.
Ray
Ray Shremmerd. So Sway Lee and his brother, how they originally blew up was in a group called Ray Shremmerd, which is air drummers.
Oh yeah, Ray Shremmerd. I know.
Mike Will made it, the producer.
I've heard that guy.
All right, so he put them on, kind of like that's how they started.
But didn't he do? He did Joyner shit, right? Mike Will made it.
He didn't do Joyner shit. They might have a song or two.
Yeah,
but I'm not familiar.
I think the Eminem song with Joyner was Mike Will made it.
Really?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Wait, this is old news, but
That might be. You could
the
I
one on
think
the one on
Boy-
Eminem's album. That one.
I feel like it might be Boy Wonder, but you could be right also.
That's what I think I've heard that
I'm
name
not sure
before.
on that. Yeah.
But this is old news. But I got, as a huge Eminem fan, I want to know what you thought of the Benzino disses.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it yet. I heard,
Oh wow,
I heard
Leeds,
it.
I'm disappointed
What
in
the
you.
fuck? Yeah, come
I'm
on.
so sorry. My
Do your homework before you come on the goddamn show.
I heard the Eminem diss first. It was cool. But people everyone has told me they've heard it, but like, yo, Benzino kind of got him. You know what I mean? Like,
He did?
Do you feel like that when you spit a battle rap on a diss record, you should have to write it yourself? Or
no.
ghostwriters okay in battle
I
raps?
think ghostwrite's fine. I mean, we accept it in every other form of hip hop.
When did people start? You must have noticed it exactly happening. When did people start rapping over their fucking vocal
Oh, my
tracks?
God. Great question.
I'd say after 2010.
Was there
Yeah, I was
there
going
a
to say
specific artist
2012 is when I thought
that like
changed.
that started that for
I
everybody?
don't know who started it, but it's. I don't personally like it. I don't think it sounds good. I understand layering your hooks, your
Yeah,
choruses.
yeah. Ad libs too
but,
as well.
I don't think you should rhyme.
You
with
know how I
rhymes.
think it started was I think like when the SoundCloud era came, the rappers
Yeah.
didn't even have the show tracks.
Right.
So I don't think they even had the option
Right.
to not rap over their vocals, and then they kind of just rolled with it.
How
Show-
many?
Yeah.
And then
How-
it became a standard, and then everyone just accepts it as a standard.
Well, you can mosh pit like I feel like it like back to the antics. They were like, all right, well I just have the track playing. I'm gonna crowd surf and cause a mosh.
Yeah,
pit.
and then not have to worry about getting all the way through the verse live.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about Bomb Shot before, and it's like antics and stuff like that. We're talking about that in lyrics. Like being a hip hop guy, like that wasn't always first and foremost to you. You were cool with the antics over lyrics sometimes.
I liked Bomb Shot as a person at that time.
I don't even mean specifically Bomb Shot. I mean just like because there was a time in hip hop when it just had to be the lyrics mattered. Like it went from Nas to Dude. It always like who had the best fucking lyrics.
Who was good? Yeah,
Who was always the
Skills.
best. And then it kind of got to like okay, we got to such perfection that now kind of like the personality kind of added into that. Like
it's
so.
fine.
You were always but on the way up, like we were kind of all like just nothing but lyrics, but you were more into like the Biz Markie, the Noriega shit like that, the Bomb Shot, the antics. I'm
I
asking.
wasn't really into the antics. Bomb Shot was controversial. I just liked it. I just liked him at the time. We got along. As far as like the skill level, yeah, it's not necessarily rapping the best doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna sell the most records
Obviously.
or stream the most music, I should say. So it's like that. I saw that transition come. It wasn't for me, but in order to survive as a business, I had to do all sorts of different hip hop.
The local scene of hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Has it improved or gone down? Lyric
I think it's
skill
improved.
set.
People are
wise.
way more successful than I
Yeah.
mean.
I don't mean I don't mean successful wise. I mean skill set wise. Like when you see the new artists come up to the game in the local scene, do they have?
Skill is
Yeah, were you not? Maybe you weren't monitoring that much.
skill is is Joyner Lucas better than Slaine? I don't know. Is Cousin Stiz better than Mr. Liff? I don't know.
No.
But it's like
Definitely.
Definitely not.
Mr. Lip is like
Definitely
one of the
not.
greatest things
Definitely
what
ever.
I'm saying is these
Yeah.
are questions, right?
So-
These are two different styles.
Illmatic or Ready to Die? Just everyone's been waiting. They're on the edge of their seats. They need to know.
Illmatic.
Best West Coast rap album other than Doggy Style and The Chronic.
Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, you think that's better than F4 Zaggin?
Yeah.
No.
Cube's
way.
in it, dude. How can you say Zaggin is a better produced
It
album?
is a better produced album,
But it's
definitely.
not. There's no
Ma-
song on there better
than
than
Straight Outta
Outta
Compton. Yeah,
or
that's-
F the Police.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. What are your top 5 albums?
I got asked this last night. Moment of Truth. Hard to Earn. There's 2 of them.
Okay.
Gangstar, obviously.
Yeah.
This is hip hop only, right?
Yes,
Uh,
please. Let's keep it hip hop. You just answered it. You said last night.
I know, but I had like 10 last night.
And you've been up all night. Like, oh,
I
was
have
that the
been
right
up,
answer
yeah.
to this? Like,
All right, so I guess Illmatic. I mean, you can't argue Illmatic.
right.
I know I'm going to get this wrong.
I don't think this is a
No,
wrong answer.
this is right or wrong.
It's hard not to say Mobb Deep, the infamous.
Even
Yeah,
though they got
it should
booed off
be
stage.
hard.
And then I'd say Biggie Smalls. It's so hard between Life After Okay, here's say Life After Death and Ready to Die. Two different things. Ready to Die is a great introduction, probably one of the best introduction hip hop albums of all time.
Yes.
But he is lyrically more better on Life After Death. with
Lyrically
his
more better.
More better, yeah. Double positive.
You weren't.
Lyrically,
Double
I-
album,
yeah,
you're going to get a double
yeah,
positive.
I am from New England. I always say it. Lyrically, he's more diverse and better on Life After Death with his range of what he can do, and the storytelling's better.
Yeah.
So
You like that fuck him in the ass, throw him off of the bridge.
I don't know if I love that line, but that song is
The
incredible.
Song is
Oh,
incredible.
me and my fucking kidnap kids. I forgot the beginning of that one.
Fucking
That would be the lyric that.
Do you-
Yeah, I know.
Do you
Yeah. That,
being a-
I gotta say, I gotta split it up that way.
being a huge movie buff, do you have
Yeah.
like a
Let's hear these top five.
skit,
A skit
a favorite skit
from a movie?
from a album? Because you were a big skit guy.
I wasn't really big into skits
Well,
on
you
album.
made- you
I
made
make
skits.
skits
You made
now.
skits,
Yeah,
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 but-
yeah. Well, but sampling movies. Yeah. When
Big Punisher.
what was it? Who did? When Prince Paul did Prince Amongst Thieves, but he wasn't sampling movies. That was crazy. Way he just skidded the whole friggin' album.
Yeah.
I mean, De La's all early stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
3 Feet High
whoa.
Rising, yeah.
I mean, when I heard Ghostface using Carlito's Way,
Okay,
originally
yeah.
when it originally came out, it had Carlito's Way samples. I think they removed them. I mean, Jay-Z replaying.
You know
them.
what? You're fucking right. Because I've looked for that. The last one, the lay down,
Yeah, lay
I'm going to
down.
get some
Yeah,
breakfast.
that's-
that shit's not in there
Carlito's,
anymore.
yeah.
And then it was on fucking Cuban
Yeah.
Links, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was on.
It was the last
It was
song.
on Iron Man.
It was the last song on
was Iron Man.
Yeah, okay. And I could never fucking find that goddamn sample again. He's
Speaking
right.
of that, were you there when Slaine's album got pulled?
For samples,
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but I remember it happening.
Which album was that? That
It
was
was World with No Skies.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And that was
You had to replay the whole thing. That's when Lou came into the picture because Lou was the one that was doing the replaying.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Anything else,
Your
Hush?
top 5 movies.
Oh.
I know.
It's hard not to say. Heat is
Yeah,
Always.
definitely.
Big Lebowski is my favorite comedy of all time.
I gave you the shirt. Still haven't seen you wear it.
Did you? I would wear that. I don't know where I gave it. I was misplaced that.
No. Interesting.
You have to give another one.
Let's pull out the list real quick.
Let's
I'm gonna
pull
get
out
this
the
on
old
the-
list.
This guy's list
got
on list
lists,
on.
huh?
Yeah,
I
list
got,
on list on list.
Well, I review movies on IMDb.com, and it saves me.
Of course you do.
I will give you my
It's great use of your time.
ratings.
Do you do that just as a
I've
hobby?
rated 2,600 movies on this place.
Wow.
What the?
Do you get
Oh,
paid
you're
for
a
that
real
shit?
No.
movie buff.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why you don't have time to bring new headliners to Boston.
No.
Jesus.
I want to make sure when he that's started with the bottom there. That's not. Good.
I don't think anyone's ever pulling on a list for
I
like
know,
favorite
yeah.
favorite movies.
No, but he takes this very seriously,
I feel
though.
like
I
you
know
were a
this.
director in
Okay.
another life, huh?
There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, that was a great one.
So what did I say already? I said Heat, Big
Yep.
Lebowski, There Will Be Blood.
Now that you got the list,
Ooh.
I almost want to do top 10.
I'm gonna switch up because there's a few. I would have to say Goodfellas. How
Yep.
can you not mention Goodfellas? And just to throw in a twist, I'm gonna say something a little different that you might not expect.
Ooh.
Memento.
Memento's amazing.
Okay, yeah.
Christopher
that was a
Nolan.
great one.
Because Memento, I love Insomnia too. Those are both like top notch. But Memento, no one had done something like
Yeah.
that. And I remember watching that stoned and being like, "Yo." Like it was just like
The last
my
scene.
fucking mind
when it
was
turns to
blown,
color.
dude. You felt like this guy that had amnesia because
Yeah.
you didn't know what was going on, and you're like, "What's going on?" And they're back playing everything, and you're like,
I don't feel
"This is
drunk.
the fucking craziest shit I have ever seen."
Why am I chasing
Yeah.
this guy? Oh shit!
Yeah,
this
that
guy's
was-
chasing
that
me.
Right?
movie
Like
was
you're
insane.
running like after someone, then you realize, yo, he's actually running after me. Like,
Yeah.
is that fucking
Yeah.
crazy, dog?
That is true.
You know,
Yeah, that's
you
good
kill
shit.
someone and you tattoo and everything you
Yeah.
know on your body. I mean, dude.
What's a movie that's come out in the last year you'd recommend?
Oh, damn.
Oh, did you see Poor Things?
Pull his list back out.
I don't want to get this right. I don't want to get this
He's
wrong.
taking
bro.
it so seriously. It's like
Wouldn't film, bro. Like you
you don't want to get it wrong.
Did you see Poor Things though?
Did you like that movie?
didn't see Poor Things.
What the fuck was the movie with Julia Roberts? End of the World there?
That was all right. I like Ethan Hawke. He's good, so I'll usually check for everything. I mean, it ended. Everybody kind of complained about it, but
That was the big movie that just.
let's take a look here. I haven't seen the new. I am not on it like I used to be on it. Let's see. What
If this is you not being on it, I don't even want to know when you once were.
Pulls a spreadsheet out.
Yeah.
Let me get my
check the linear credits. Right?
The Excel.
Let's see. I'm looking at everything real quick.
I think the last. What's the last great movie you saw then, or something like? What's something that's fresh in the mind that you were like, oh, that's something that everyone should see.
I watched that. It's not new though. You know what's a funny movie that came out this year that's really funny is the movie Champions. You've seen that one? Woody Harrelson
No.
coaching the special education, special needs basketball players.
Yeah.
Dude,
That
hilarious.
sounds interesting.
Directed by the Farley brothers. It's
He goes,
Okay,
the
yeah.
AI is going to pick up on that, Hush.
I'll talk to you about another movie that's controversial. We can maybe talk about it because it's controversial. Is the movie Sound for Freedom? Seen that one?
No.
You know about it?
You're going to open up a can of worms.
Yeah, we shouldn't, but I'll say like this. I'll just say I posted about that movie being like, this was crazy because it's about child sex
It's
slaves.
about child trafficking.
Child trafficking. And I didn't realize
Hot.
how politicized it was.
Oh wow.
It was so politicized, it turned my fucking Facebook blog and Facebook page into this whole fucking debate thing. And I was just like, oh my God, over a friggin' movie? Are you kidding
Wow.
me?
I need to see
Well,
this
it's
movie.
about child trafficking. So I mean,
Right, but that's not why people were mad. They were mad because it wasn't accurate enough or it was too right wing. It was too right wing. I was like, what
Oh,
about
wow.
friggin'
The
sex?
actual movie.
Sex trafficking is right wing. You know what I mean? Like,
I was watching something that, like it was.
it's not real enough. It wasn't 100% accurate. I'm like, you're missing the point there. The facts they give you at the end of that movie are so disturbing.
I'm
And
trying.
if
gonna
they're
have to
true,
check
Yeah,
out,
I didn't watch
think.
it.
I'm
Even
gonna
like
have
the
to check it
even
out.
like the
All right,
Michael
it's not-
Jackson
it's
documentary.
not
As soon as
great.
you said butthole, I stopped.
It's
turned it
not.
off.
It doesn't show. It's not really graphic. It shows some scenes that are pretty rough, but it's not like graphic, so
Yeah.
you can get through it. But if those stats are right, at the end, we have a lot of things wrong with us in this world.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna have to watch it. Yeah.
Are you one of those people that cries during movies?
Of course,
Absolutely.
of course.
You cried during Gone with the
What's
Wind.
what's the last
Didn't
movie?
see
What's the
Gone.
last
Sound
movie
of
you cried
Music.
during?
Probably cried during that movie.
I
Dude.
said that movie was
That fucking movie had me balling, dude. I was like this the whole time, dude. Like, oh my God, dude. Whether it's real or not, I don't give a fuck. Like, what side of the political spectrum you are, but that issue is
Everything becomes political now. It wouldn't even matter. Like it's
stupid.
You're talking about like the UMTV rap cards, and it's like because and it just gets there somehow. Like every fucking time, doesn't matter, especially on the internet.
You know, it's not.
Hush, you got anything left over there?
I figured we'll wrap it up with the easy one, being Super Bowl tomorrow. Who you got for the Super Bowl?
Neither.
The commercials? If the true winner?
I don't think many
Not-
people we bring on here give a fuck about sports.
Apparently
Not Kansas City.
This guy right here, sports is his mortal enemy. Didn't he tell you that earlier in the fucking thing?
not
Every time
Kansas
sports
City.
is going like a Super Bowl, that
Oh,
must be a
yeah,
day you
it's
never want to do.
No,
a show,
that's
right?
Ferrone's least
Listen,
favorite
I
day.
don't want Kansas City to win just because if I can't escape Taylor Swift on social media. Like I just can't. I can't get away from it. I
Yeah.
can't go a day without seeing
Yeah.
Taylor Swift doing something.
Would
And
you
I-
ever throw a
I'm not a Swiftie.
Would you ever throw a show on the Super Bowl Sunday? You ever throw one?
Yeah, it sucked.
You should have got Taylor Swift. It might have been better.
Yeah, seriously, embrace Taylor.
And it's like
You couldn't Hush
listen,
open up with some
and listen,
other
I
thing.
ain't got nothing against Taylor Swift. It's just that that music's not for me,
Yes, you do.
and I
You
can't
do.
escape.
You
I don't.
have,
I
you
don't
have
listen
something
to it.
against
I
it.
don't
You're
listen
at
to it.
home fucking drawing pictures of her, throwing knives at him
No.
and shit.
Isn't it Lewis Bell going from Slaine to Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift
Yeah.
and Post Malone dropping soon.
Yeah, that's true.
Karma is a good track.
Hey, I listen. I'm not saying her music's bad or what. I don't listen to it because I don't like pop music, but the amount of exploitation coming from her, everything that she does, it's just so crazy. It's the most I've seen really of anybody.
Yeah.
Covered, yeah. I've seen recent comparisons that she's like the most covered since like Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
type,
she is. It's
Yeah,
it's
I
insane.
believe that. Yeah. it's
Imagine if
crazy.
She's
Michael
also a billionaire off just music,
yeah.
Wow.
which is pretty impressive.
I don't want. I miss.
I
it.
mean,
there's
I
no-
don't- I
there's
watched
no
the
one- I've
documentary,
I've never
I'm
heard of
not gonna
Sway Lee.
lie.
I miss.
There's
I
no
missed the whole
one.
thing.
There's no artist bigger than Taylor Swift.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. Even Drake shouted out. He's like the only person I moved my album back a little later is Taylor.
Yeah.
And he called her an M-bomb.
Damn.
She's like, ooh.
But as a compliment,
She was
you
like,
feel me?
she was like,
Yeah.
she was like a little heavy on the ER there. dude.
Yeah.
A little heavy on the ER.
she was okay with that, but not Kanye. Okay.
Yeah, actually, one more current event. So Jay-Z at the Grammys, people are saying, "Oh, it's cool when Jay-Z says it, but when Kanye says it, because basically he was calling out the Grammys because Beyonce hasn't won an Album of the Year Grammy."
So
What's your take on
stupid.
that?
It's just like, I hate all that shit. And like, even if it's true, he might be right. It's not the time and place for that, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
people are there enjoying their ceremony, getting their awards, and you're basically saying, fuck those people. Listen to mine. And like,
You're not
Hey, yo,
basically saying
he
you are
ma-
saying fuck those
yeah,
people.
right.
Yeah.
And he's like,
And you have the most
you
Grammys.
might have a point, and it's like, how rich and how famous do you need to be? Right?
right.
Like,
I-
how,
I-
do you
no,
need everything?
Beyonce needs to
About you?
respect Leeds.
Yeah.
I think she has it.
No, Beyonce
has the
needs her
most-
respect.
She
No.
has the most Grammys of anyone ever.
Bro.
You need to put some respect on Beyonce's name.
Yeah,
okay?
put some
She
respect on
does-
it.
She doesn't have an Album of the Year Grammy though. That's the issue here.
Beyonce's probably a billionaire.
She
Bion.
is.
I'm sure she gets plenty of respect.
She gets respect.
I don't think we need an extra argument of how great Beyonce is. We know how great Beyonce
You're
is.
pissing off the
She was wearing a
I'm more of a
cowboy hat,
Riri fan.
and people are saying it might be foreshadowing a Beyonce country album.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Wonderful.
That hat was terrible.
Well, this is when we
Not
know we got to
Grammy
shut it down.
Not
Yeah.
good Grammy attire. I guess we can end
Not
it
good
there.
Grammy time. Leeds, you want to tell anyone in this camera right
Hold
here?
on.
Yeah, just check us out, LeedsEdutainment.com. Any artists out there needing help with their marketing, digital stuff, any type of promotion, let me know. Send your music also. Do the curated Leeds list. That's
Yeah, it's
Spotify playlist. Thank you.
Keeps me up on
Oh
things.
yeah, real quick, just tell us what that is. Talk about what that is.
That's just a weekly Spotify playlist I put together of just new music that comes out every week. Try to
Local music,
everything.
national music.
Just mostly underground hip hop. And occasionally sprinkle some of the big ones, the newer acts.
Oh, did you listen to Killer Mike's Michael?
Yeah, I listened to it. It's a while. It's been out for a while.
Yeah. Did you like it?
It was cool.
Is
Yeah.
it Graham? Is it worthy of?
I think
the
I
accolades?
think out of everything else that was on there, I think that was the good show. I mean, the other Nas, which one you gonna go with? I think Mike made that was a bigger moment because Mike hadn't done a solo album in a while. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Nas was on his fourth.
What do you think of Nas over Hit Boy production?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hit Boy is a very diverse producer and can create for an album create whole different style type of beats that you need on an album.
In order, what were the top 3 Eminem albums after Marshall Mathers LP?
No.
Recovery. I'm just gonna leave it at Recovery.
Yeah,
was
just
the
leave it
best.
Recovery.
Relapse was
Well,
amazing.
No, it
hold on.
wasn't.
Time out, because we're gonna have to edit this down. We're already over 2 hours, so we're gonna say goodbye on that right there.
Recovery is the best post Marshall Mathers.
Relapse is an amazing album. I don't know how you don't think it's great.
That's when he was doing the voice all over.
Oh, so good.
No.
And Ass Like That when he does the voice. That was good
No,
too.
no, no,
Yeah.
Hey Van, what do you want to
That
tell?
song about Behind the Shed.
What do you want to tell these people right there, Van?
I want to tell them that we just had.
no. This one's off. So talk to this one.
Talk to that one.
Talk to that one.
Talk to the hand. Talk to the hand, making the high five to the guy over on my right side. That is Leedz of Leedz Edutainment. Not a gatekeeper, but a facilitator within the Boston hip hop music scene for 2 decades plus. Wearing the undergroundhiphop.com vintage T-shirt to just bring it back to where I used to work.
I haven't opened. I've had this sitting since the store went down.
Yeah, I can see the line.
We-
The
More
crease lines
importantly,
on it.
wearing the Big Dookie Chain.
Yeah,
Wearing the
more
Big
importantly,
Dookie
wearing
chain.
the Big Dookie Chain, which was also from undergroundhiphop.com.
So-
Uno the Prophet's gonna yell at me for this. I'm sorry, Uno. They made me do this.
So, fuck whack music.
Oh, really? That's
Fuck
still a
Kurt
thing.
Schilling. I still own it, man.
Okay.
Fuck Kurt Schilling.
Yeah.
Sense lives. Marty forever. Peace.